Travada don't showing up.
All right,
Well, maybe you're
we
lucky you're getting another
are
free all-in pledge.
live. I am going
Okay.
to refresh it. Obviously, we're not going to have any viewers yet, but I will get a link as soon as I can. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching this later, you'll obviously get this part of the stream. But this is going to be a 1 vs 1 show match. This is our third show match during the Kickstarter Live. If you catch this later, feel free to join us, Company of Heroes on Kickstarter 2nd edition. We're going to be showing off a map that has the stretch goal. Basically, it's a tile. It's going to be a mega bunker. We already have unlocked that. And, oh, you have got the link for me. Nice. Way to go, Dugo. What a guy. I can pass it along to Chris to put in the update. Live link.
Let me do a quick.
All right. So as I'm kind of getting ready, I normally mute during this, but I wanted to just kind of start going live here as we're going to hopefully get people joining us along with us here momentarily. Okay, there's chat up. Stuff's already muted. Yep, 1v1 with commentary. All right. So that said, yeah, this is gonna be in. It's gonna be for the poll. Basically showing off the mega bunker tile. So perfect for TP3 vote. So that said, yeah, this is the mega bunker that you're gonna have. One of the options is either the factories, which work on like every map almost, so many maps, and then here's the mega bunker, which we're at least getting the tile that was unlocked, and they're both really cool options. I kind of want them both. Basically, this Hill 331 map was pretty cool in first edition, but I thought we could add something to it to really spice it up. So that's kind of what's going on here, is that we went ahead and, well, Rudy's just making it all nice and neat here, which is awesome. I can actually hit F11, go. But we will be starting shortly. We are still waiting for Layer. I'll check to make sure he can still.
I did the thing on Facebook, made a post, so.
Awesome. Rudy hit up Facebook. I'm going to hit the comments, although I think Chris might hopefully be sending out a Kickstarter update. Of course, my web browser's lagging right now. All right. One versus one show match on Hill 331 Mega Bunker. Oh, there's that. You already sent it on Discord, but I'm gonna put it in a different. Oh, you already put it in the main channel.
Yeah, Digo is excited to play.
Yeah, I don't know how to flip the timer.
Have you ever played against Apple? Not yet, right?
No, not yet.
Ah, awesome. So we hope that applesauce will be here shortly, so we can start.
Yep, we're just getting everything finalized. But there's plenty of time, I'm sure. This is short notice for a lot of people, so we are gonna try to give folks a little bit of time anyway. This is kind of a surprise. Wow.
Yeah, we'll be curious how this match will be going because Apple is already a veteran player. You could have seen him play together with me in video last week at 2v2 versus the developers, Chris and Marcel. And yeah, I'm curious how he does against our EU champion, Dugo. So it's going to
Yeah,
be an exciting match. I'm sure of that.
yeah, Brian, maybe you can tell us about the rules we're gonna use
Yeah,
for
we
this
are going
match.
to be doing 2.04. I'm just messaging Chris something. Sorry, folks. Um, but this, so basically, the tournament tomorrow, for those unaware, is 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. That's going to be the last official matches of 2.03. We have a few changes that we're looking to test going into 2.04, which may or may not be our last version before production, but that's kind of what we're doing. We just got a few more things that we're looking to test. The first one is kind of the showcase of this map in that it is a focus on transports and just a little bit clearing up rules and simplifying them where we don't know if value is really being added. So what I mean there is that there's a lot of restrictions with buildings and transports, with reinforcing, repairing, retreat point. Can I spawn there? Just a lot of different clarifications. So the main one there is that now you can actually spawn your infantry in a transport that's on the spawn line. Previously, before this rule, you'd have to spawn adjacent and then you'd hop in with your first cube and then start moving your transport. So, especially on these longer maps, you kind of have, as you can kind of see on your screen, these dots kind of at the top here, these like 5 blue dots, and there's also 5 red at the bottom. So you normally have to do this thing where you move your transport slightly, then hop in, and on these maps, these longer maps, just that rotated configuration here, they're a little bit longer. They're about 2 hexes longer, so the action's a little bit more delayed around the center, and it's a little bit tighter. So it's kind of this long. It has this interesting feel to it where it's like long and narrow. But that said, what this transport's going to be able to do is allow players to just spawn in and just go. So especially end of round one, going into round two, you're going to gain basically save a cube and gain a distance. It's really quite a bit, and this map especially because you have to do that little pivot thing, if you will. You kind of lose almost another half a hex. So it basically just helps with that. Not really showcased too much on the non-winner maps currently, but another one, if a building gets destroyed, destroyed buildings are basically like almost full-fledged buildings. All the rules that say standard building apply to destroyed buildings. And the only exception is basically they are now indestructible because they're already destroyed, and they only give 1 defense instead of 3 defense dice. So that's going to be quite interesting in that, yeah, an infantry can walk through them now. They'll still block line of sight just like a normal building would, but now you can enter those hexes and play off of them. So you can easily go through. This map has 2 buildings that have a victory point. So now when they're destroyed, the victory point will still stay there. So that's kind of a little caveat of it. If a bunker hex gets destroyed, it, however, just turns into a normal destroyed building, so it loses its AP damage. Was that it, Rudy? Oh,
Yeah, I
joining
guess
me
so.
here is Rudy. I probably should have said that as people are. Yeah, Mega Bunker. We have. That's what we're showing off, Steven. Yep. So, Rudy, was that it with the buildings though? Destroyed buildings. It was the
Yeah.
just one
So
cover, indestructible, and yeah, that's it. So it's only 3 little small things. So I think it's gonna be very seamless and really help infantry movement out. But it's still, the key thing is it's only 1 defense die, but you're still immune to MG pinning. So, and kind of Overwatch. You have anything to add with that, Rudy?
uh, no, I think you covered it all so far. So
Awesome.
yeah. I'm curious how the match will be playing out. We are still waiting for Apple here. So
I may have to start looking for an alternate if he's unable to make it. Thought for sure he'd be able to make it.
I do have a question about
Yeah.
multi-axis building. Let's say an MG is inside the building.
Yep.
Can it pin another unit inside the building? Inside the bunker?
No. And
No,
when you're
okay.
when you're bunker, you don't take Overwatch and you can't be pinned. The only exception is if you assault the MG itself.
Okay, nice.
So the MG always basically can defend its own hex. All right. I don't want to put on that name. I'll just leave on sorting shortly for now. Let's see.
Well, since you are already here to go, maybe a quick little interview. How do you feel after winning the tournament?
Still very happy, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And what did you think of the OKW you played with?
Very strong, especially being able to put the pooption inside the bunker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
just for
feel it's
those. Yeah, just to interrupt a little bit.
oh,
That's the Rakettenwoofer on the board,
yeah,
but historically the poop chin basically
yeah,
was what it's
does
representing. So some people might
yeah,
call it
small
that, but
nickname.
yeah.
I like it. Um, yeah, and the forward HQ, while the truck being deployed close to the front line is also a good thing because you can use your Panzer II and Stuka much
Mhm.
easier with it. You don't have to spend a lot of CP cubes to use
Yeah.
it effectively.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's really yeah, an unique thing the OKW can do. Get their spawn points more forward by deploying a tier 2 and a tier 3
Hmm.
building from their trucks, and spawn their yeah, tier 2 and 3 units at the truck. So
Yeah,
it
and
can
especially with the new rules, because with
sorry.
the new rules, especially with the
Yeah.
new rules will allow to reinforce while
Yeah.
inside the building. So
And
I could put the truck behind the bunker and leave my
mhm.
troops inside the bunker, and
Mhm.
they get reinforced each
Yeah,
turn.
that was a powerful move you made there. Even though it could have turned the other way
Yeah,
around as well if the other player would have put some units inside the bunker, so your forward HQ, so to say, would be a little bit more vulnerable to be destroyed. But yeah, luckily that didn't happen for you. You had a pretty good rounds
yeah,
controlling that area of the map. So
yeah. Because I was the first one to choose for the operation card, I
yeah.
went with two faces only, two turn
Hmm.
for the first round, and that was really good for me because with only two turn for the movement phase, he couldn't get close to the bunker. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was an
And
interesting game.
what do you think of this map? You can take a look at it right now, of course. And yeah,
Yeah,
you
look.
chose. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what side you choose because it's pretty symmetrical. This
Hmm.
map. But what do you think? What's your first impression of this map?
Well, for me, it's like King of the Hill. If you get in the bunker and the opponent does not, you basically win.
Okay, well,
Uh,
we'll have to see how that will turn out, of course.
yeah.
And do you already have any strategy in mind? What you want might to try out, or
Well, um, maybe at the start of the second round, go with a Kubel or a Jeep with an MG inside, and you can rush the bunker with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that could work, I don't know. We have to see.
It's a good option.
Yeah.
Especially with the new rules, you can spawn the MG teams inside the Jeeps or the Kubel wagons. And yeah, that saves you, in this case, even 2 movements.
Oh, awesome. Apple is able to make it, folks. Thank goodness.
Awesome.
No one gave me the time.
Hello, Apple. Welcome, welcome.
I
We
gave
were
you
waiting
the
for you.
time.
No, you didn't. You said I'll have to find out when Adam will be available, which I see he's not even available.
Well, as the chat says, I'm not even sleeping, so that's my excuse. But I am sleeping, folks. Just really appreciative of all of our backers here. Thanks for all the support. So as Apple's getting into the game here, we will be getting started shortly. So as if they could probably be starting a roll off shortly, and we're gonna let's see.
So who am I playing against? Dugo?
You're
Dugo.
playing against Dugo, the EU champion.
Yeah. See how little I've been informed of what is going on.
Right, that was all part of our plan, folks. You have
Yeah.
to catch Apple off guard to have a chance. This guy's a monster, as he was in our 2v2 show match. And no spoilers, but he lived up to the hype in that game. So Rudy was his
Definitely.
partner, and let's just say they came out very happy with how that match turned out. If you haven't caught it, but still go catch it if you haven't. But we're about to get started as Apple is, without even a time, I just kind of ping him and he's able to make it happen. This guy's awesome and flexible. I thought I gave him a time, but I think he's right. I never got back to him. So blame it on me, folks. I do have the stream going, though, and we have some viewers in. And ask any questions you have. They're not fully set with their factions, but I just wanted to get this overlay a little bit more updated. So looks like it should be working here. I'll let them pick the factions, of course. They can roll off as soon as they're ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and for Apple, if you didn't know it yet, we're playing with new rules for the
2.04
buildings
rules.
as
Yep.
well. Yeah, the 2.04 rules. So
if
just so you know.
just as a reminder, those just joining in, one thing to point out, the 2.04 rules, so you can actually spawn in a transport. We're testing that rule. That's really important on these longer maps, as I pointed out earlier, because it kind of saves you CP and actually helps you move a little bit more. Because normally, especially on these maps, you can kind of see these red, basically spawn dots here. That's the spawn for red, for instance, and they kind of usually have to move over before a transport is able to get a unit in it. So especially on these longer maps that you need some more space, yeah, the TP4 questions. Well, it's funny because I really want the factory, but I'm showing off the mega bunker, and I thought it was perfect timing with the update. So I really wanted on this map because in first edition this map was interesting, but I really, really wanted to spice this up, and I just think it really is thematic. At the top of the hill, this mega bunker structure. It would be just really cool to have. So if not, you have the tile. We have the tile unlocked. So even if you vote for the factories, don't feel bad. Yeah, basically the underdog from EU strikes again. Go champ. Yeah, do go. Did you guys start rolling yet? I can see which.
No.
You guys can roll off and see who's gonna get. We'll just kind of use the tournament rules. Basically, what that means is players are gonna roll off, and then the winner of the roll off gets to choose either their faction or if they want to go first or second. Which second might be very strong in this
Dugo
map.
got 3 greens.
No, two
greens and a black.
Yeah,
All
2
right.
greens. Yeah, and black.
Like, am I
And what does-
colorblind? Okay,
And
Dugo, you
Apple
win.
got 2 reds. So Dugo gets the choice to pick his faction. So what are you going to play, Dugo?
I wasn't gonna choose faction or go forth, but yeah.
Yeah. I will go Austria. So Wehrmacht, sorry.
Awesome. So I already have that one correct. What are you gonna pick, Apple?
Let me see. I'm fighting Wehrmacht.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you for not picking OKW. I might have surrendered if you did. Um,
Well, the champ did use him to win the tournament, so
I was very concerned about Storm Pioneers and the double bunker or the
Yeah,
5x bunker.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was an idea, but
Ooh, yeah.
Hmm. Let me see. I'm fighting whale marked.
a lot of cool choices here.
Is whale marked blue side or red side?
Wehrmacht is going to be blue side.
Okay.
But both sides, it's a symmetrical map.
It's almost. Those just kind of join in. There is red lines. So this is a map where if you have Terrain Pack 3, basically you can go ahead and place out your walls. And I think that'll really liven up this map. Even without, I mean, the megastructure, the bunker would be awesome. But I think that'll really bring this map to life. All these little walls here and there really make this map pop, I would say. But either way, I think it's pretty cool. That causes a little bit of asymmetry because red, for instance, has these little chokes here and there. But I don't think it's too big of a deal. Apple's still deciding?
Wow.
Well, I feel bad not picking Soviets, but I don't think this is a good map for Soviets.
All right, so you're playing Soviets. That's it. I decided for you.
Aw.
I already have you into Soviets. The people are expecting you to play Soviets on the overlay. So
And Apple is like, but I want to play OKW.
Well, I think US was strong, probably the strongest with this kind of setup. But I guess I
Interesting.
could play Soviets.
all right, we're gonna
Oh,
see
man.
Soviets. Awesome, folks. So
I'm not
Soviets
comfortable with it, but I'll do
versus
Soviets.
Soviets versus Wehrmacht. So the top is correct of the overlay.
I'll
With
just
that-
make it easier for you.
I know, such a nice guy. So therefore, I don't have to update it. It is all correct. Therefore, yeah, the players, whenever you guys are ready, can just basically hop down a channel. You can draw your commanders and start getting into the match.
Yeah.
We're not.
Are you also going to play with Lost Brigades?
You know what? Let's do Lost Brigades, even though so it's almost tournament mode. But let's throw in Lost Brigades to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah.
To help show that off, because I'll go over that one more time. It'll be great to show in this show match. So we're going to be doing commanders and Lost Brigades, and then the players will be able to hop down so that we're not distracting them with chatter. And then just as a reminder, if you guys could come up for interviews to really help us get into the minds of the players, that would be fantastic. Once you're, again, the first player first, whenever they're done buying, and then the second player. That said, we will prepare the overlay, get ready for our first maneuver phase. The players are getting ready. Lost Brigades, yes please, from the crowd. So there we go. Travis
Nice.
wants to see them, and I don't blame him. I think it'll help show off all the different cool combinations that you can have access to.
Well, Dugo has a fan in chat as well, I can see.
Nice.
So you're popular, Dugo.
So should we change channel?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can change the rooms and then
I'll move up
yeah, maybe after the
Eisenhower.
first
There
or
we go.
second round you can hop in back here.
Yep.
Okay.
So just come in for the interviews like last time.
Okay.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks, guys. So they're gonna go get squared away, preparing for our first maneuver phase. What do you expect to see from this one, Rudy?
From this one, well, I expect Apple to be aggressive with his Soviets. I think he will try to push hard to get the bunker.
Yep.
And the victory points surrounding it, of course, and yeah, see if he can control the area. If I take a look at his Lost Brigade units, he can start off with the anti-tank, anti-infantry partisans,
They'd be
the
really good on this
IS-2
one.
heavy tank, or
Not
a
bad.
repair station. So I think he might either go for the partisans or the repair station. With the repair station, he can change the building into a emplacement. But he can spawn his vehicles from there, so that can be pretty strong, I think, especially in this map, to have a forward spawn point for your tanks.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. So one thing I want
yeah,
to touch on before we get to, well, let's go to the commanders, and then I want to kind of touch on, as we're getting to the commanders here first, one thing that Apple was trying to point out is why he wanted to go US is US have a very easy AI upgrade on the rifleman. So kind of what you touched on already, fighting over the bunker. We actually see the ban. So the one that was
yeah.
banned by Dugo was, I'm gonna have to hold Alt Shift here in a second.
Heroes of Stalingrad.
Getting a little lag spike. There we go. Heroes of Stalingrad. So there we go. I'll center screen it there for you viewers at home. Heroes of Stalingrad. Yeah, the Guards Rifle Infantry. So this one's really interesting. So this one's one thing that Soviets have. And you actually get to see both units that they have that have access to this. Is each time you attack, you choose your damage type. So on a map like this, wow, that would be a great one to have. This commander also lets you get a sniper for free in tier 3, and the decoy really helps with movement. So this map being extra long, that ability would just I think that's a very smart ban because ISU 152 also doesn't really have any weakness.
Yeah.
It's not as much damage in terms of cost as other units, but it's just its versatility and the fact that it's pretty much unkillable at 7 health. It's a beast to take down. So I think that's a great choice. Now looking at the ones he has left, we have conscript support tactics. This one here is it's just very versatile. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes this just because conscripts with both of their munitions upgrades now basically spawning at 5 health, hit the dirt, fantastic. Even if you're assaulted, you still get your defense dice. So just really, really awesome there. Rapid conscription almost gives you infinite manpower. And then the amazing, we already unlocked it, folks, the turret for the T-3485. This thing is just insane. 2 AI, 3 AP turreted at 3 range. It does only have 4 health. That is its only weakness, but it is an insane unit. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes that.
It's a beast.
Below it is another Guards rifle one, basically the Guards Motor Tactics, also from the Elite Commanders pack for those watching. This has got the IS-2. Sorry, the other one was from Eastern Reinforcements, the ISU 152. This one's different. This one is the IS-2. This is just a different way to get that IS-2. So he's got the Lost Brigade for it. He can also get it here. And just gives you basically a way to mark vehicles here with his tier 1 ability, so they lose all their defense dice, even against high explosive damage, light vehicles, even against anti-infantry damage. So yeah, that's just a nice ability to have against any armor. Then we have the Guards Rifle Infantry. Again, just that versatile unit, and that IS-2 heavy tank. So just a lot of cool different options there. And then awesome on this map, really good. It can actually help against the bunker, because if you attack with the the IS-2, against buildings, the infantry lose 1 of their bonus defense dice. So that's actually really nice. And also the AP damages the building. So that kind of is a cool one to have. I think I actually tried this a few months back, this commander, and it was actually a lot of fun on this map. I was actually on this map.
That can be pretty powerful to level down
and then
the buildings.
The NKVD disruption tactics with the forward HQ. I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I think all of these options are good. I think the players are, however, ready to get started. I'm not sure what's going on with the operations deck, but we'll go over to the champ, Dugo here, playing Wehrmacht. And yeah, let's see what options he has. Starting off, his commanders. Let's see which one was banned. From the Stoogs. Yeah, that's a smart choice. Stormtroopers right off the gate, really, really strong on this map, spawning forward adjacent to any empty standard building. So that's kind of the highlight of that one. He also has the Stoog Assault Doctrine. I don't know. This one might be stronger in my opinion because, man, getting the close range firepower on the Grenadiers, I think that's a no-brainer. I would definitely strongly consider that commander. it's just really the highlight of that one. Stugs are just really strong. You can get them early out. The first one you do have to buy. It doesn't give you one for free. And then tank descent tactics, just able to push forward with your infantry, just combined arms. And finally, with target weak point, so that the Stugs don't fall off late game against vehicles. Just really inexpensive upgrade to give them that third AP damage. Yeah, they have that tight little only 4 hex cone in front of them, but these guys are just great bang for your buck, especially considering how early you're able to get them. So, moving on to Lightning War Doctrine. This is one that just really flexible with the Ostrupen. They are a little bit harder to use, but they have heroic sacrifice. So when lost, they do not give up a victory point to your opponent. So just very easy to sacrifice moving forward. Tactical movement, just able to move them. That's kind of the weakness of Ostrupen because you get a pair of them whenever you buy one. So you get 6 basically models, 3 in each infantry tray. So 2 trays. It's pretty cool. And then it just combos well with the new 251. So maybe we'll get to see it, folks, from the Lost Brigades expansion this game and the Tiger as the finisher. Last but not least, a good solid commander, Panzer Corps Doctrine. Just able to rush tier 3 very well with this commander and getting some cool utility with both smoke in tier 2 and armor blitzkrieg in tier 3. So that one is just the vehicle all move. And then the Sturm Panzer no longer has slow. So that would be nice in this map because it's long. And if you want to get that Sturm Panzer out on the board. So moving on to the maneuver phase. They did get their units out. Not really too many surprises, would you say, Rudy?
No, it's they're going for the capture points, of course, the manpower, the munitions, the fuel, and yeah, we'll see how it will go into the second round. It does looks like with the Soviet having that speed tie on the conscripts, they can get in the bunker a little bit earlier. Because I believe that Dugo started. So yeah, that means that for the next round, Applesauce can start, so he can move into the bunker first. So it will be an interesting battle on top of the hill.
Yep. Just a question from someone. Yes, just so people know, for early bird bonus, if double order, if I get 2 upgrade packs, do I get 2? Early bird bonus. I'm sure if Chris covered that one. I'm gonna have to get back to that person on that one.
So we didn't cover yet the Lost Brigade cards that Dugo has. He has 3. The SDKFZ 251 half track. That's also a new unit, I believe, from the Lost Brigades.
Yep, so that's the Lost Brigades. And this actually, someone actually gave me feedback a few days ago on this one. And they're like, oh, can I configure it all off the building board extension? That's what these Lost Brigades are. So, folks, if you're new, you haven't seen them yet, they function a lot like the Commanders in that it's an optional expansion. So even if you have it, you don't necessarily play with it every game because it speeds up a lot of things, especially early game. Because these units, if they're vehicles, they don't require any tier buildings. A lot of these other units are normally later in a commander, or they're like super combined, like these elite grenadier squad leaders over here. They're kind of a super unit, if you will, that you can make with a certain commander, a certain way. And then the Ostrupen, basically, yeah, so you can get that even if you're not going an Ostrupen
the 2
commander.
for 1.
So just that cheap 2 for 1. And they could get that. The thing, this is 1 XP, but you can get it right now, and then get 2 Kubel wagons and just throw them right in. So it's just a cool little option that can go with some awesome, especially with the mega bunker. It's something to consider because you could always just keep throwing these guys in there and just overwhelm them with numbers. So we'll see what happens here. Do we have? Nope. The players are still.
He has the Elite Grenadier Squad leaders option as well.
Yeah.
So 2 AI, camo, high explosive damage, and they can build and repair. So that's a powerful option as well.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool just for all the things you touched on. Just being able to threaten so high damage output And it's kind of like a grenadier can get the camouflage for 2 XP on just 1, right? So early game, if you have that 2 XP and you have this Lost Brigade, building extension, you might consider it. So again, just like commanders, you can just choose 1 out of the 3 at any point through the match, and then once you unlock it, you're able to purchase them. You don't get one for free, but you're able to then purchase them as you wish. So this half track, basically I made it configurable. So that person asked for it, and then now you can just choose which one you want. So this one, yeah, I had to up it from 1 XP to 2, but I think it more than makes up for it being able to get some offensive firepower because it isn't the tankiest unit. But we see the players, let's see, what time do they
They're
have
in the
left?
purchase phase right now. So
Yep.
I can see that Dugo bought a Kubelwagen and Applesauce bought a scout car.
Mhm.
So both get the transports out, so I wouldn't be surprised that we see units spawn inside of them.
Right.
So they can move them quicker to the center of the board. And there it goes. Conscripts inside the scout car for Applesauce. So I'm curious what Dugo is going to do.
Yeah, we'll see what Dugu does. Couple
Uh,
questions. Did BCG ever consider neoprene maps? The factory that we work with, that's an out of factory thing, so that's something that we kind of looked into, but just wasn't available with our factory. So I was interested in it quite a bit. I love neoprene mats, but unfortunately it didn't work out. But yeah, so Daniel, awesome question. Opposing infantry can be inside the super bunker at the same time, right? Like fighting room to room, exactly, and that is very cool. It just basically they don't get any defense dice unless attacked from the outside. So you're going to be looking for units that can get AI damage upgrades, get in that bunker. There is 2 victory points, folks, right next to it, just outside. So giving you the top-down view here, you got this one and this one down here. So this bunker is going to be critical for a lot of it. And then you have also 2 over here a little bit further out, and then it's just the highlight of this map. This map was really designed. I said, Chris, we gotta make this at least the super tile, and we got it right. So we unlocked it, and either way, if we just get the super tile, I'm gonna, you can throw it on. You don't have to. You could just have a single bunker, but this super tile I think is just gonna really spruce up this map. I just didn't want to force the super bunkers, excuse me, on every map, and it's kind of cut down the middle, so it wouldn't really work nice if you using the panels other ways. So it's just how it works out. But I think the tile, or if we do vote if you backers do vote for the Mega Bunker, I think it's going to be pretty cool. So let's see. Did they go? Yes, looks like the Soviet player is going with a conscript squad out wide. Neither of them spent their XP yet, just kind of scanning around. And then
I see Dugo spawning in his Panzer Grenadiers inside the Kubel.
Oh, it does look like not only that, but Dugo did give the Kubelwagen a speed die upgrade.
Yeah,
so
he did that earlier.
Not really too much of. Oh, is he looking for the defense? He gave that. Oh, so
yeah.
So it was the XP for the Panzer Grenadier defense. I think he's just gonna charge right into the bunker.
That's gonna be a hard unit to beat.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
but also, if I see correctly, look at the conscript squad next to the bunker.
Mm-hmm.
He made it full health, like a 5 health team.
Yeah,
so
they're
this
fighting
is
over
going to be interesting.
Yeah, this map is no holds bars, bunker madness, folks. Can there be VP inside the bunker? There could be. I just designed it so that there's still a chance for someone who doesn't win the bunker to win elsewhere on the map, and having the VP in the bunker, it would probably focus the bunker a little bit too much. They're going to have enough of an advantage as it is with it being so centralized. So we thought maybe just kind of balance it around that. And that also opens up options for vehicles like the Kubelwagen, like the Scout Car, to capture these victory points, because the Mega Bunker is just going to put so much emphasis on the infantry. Are the new 3D bridges destroyable, repairable, like in the PC game? The infantry bridges, I one thing I would like to see that I don't know if we're gonna be able to do, but it'd be cool if we had. I kind of want a regular bridge there, and then if that's destructible, then turn into basically what's left of it, which would be a footbridge. So that'd be a cool alternative for Morrow. But I didn't have any plans for making the infantry bridges destroyable, just because it's already difficult enough to cross the river there. They would be just a major choke point if nothing could cross. So Daniel just super excited. This game can't come soon enough. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
play testing the second edition has been a blast. So looks like folks they
Oh,
actually are going right into the next
whoa,
maneuver
this is
phase.
interesting.
Wow, yeah, I don't think that's a bad
Yeah.
play. I think that's a great play. So folks, basically the maneuver phase here, players are going to be using up to 3 CP at a time, and for a determined number of rounds based on the operations deck. If you're just joining us and you're a new backer, this operations deck, players are going to pick either the top or the bottom. In this case, we're going to just take a sneak peek here just to spoil it for those new learning how the operations deck works. Basically, the first player gets to pick either the top or the bottom, so in this case a 3 or 5. That's how many turns. You just times it by 3 because each turn you could spend up to 3 command points. So basically, in turn, once you flip, you put it face down on the table, point it towards the board. So in this case, your opponent sees if you pick the 3, so this is what the player picked, they'll only see that it's a 2 to 4. So essentially, the first player knows the exact number of rounds, but then the second player doesn't get
Why
to
do you
know
do
that
that to
exact number.
the
So
army?
starting out here, back in the action, we do see like Rudy was shocked to see these conscripts dive forward, but this is classic Apple. This is taking advantage of
Yeah,
Soviets, diving on points, using their speed dice, and then no surprise from basically just Dugo just diving right across the board, using the Kugelwagen, getting in the bunker with Grenadiers. Actually, yeah, I think the Grenadiers
yeah.
just charged
Those were
forward,
just
and the
grenadiers. Yeah.
Panzer Grenadiers are still in the Kugelwagen, so you can kind of see the model here. In real life, folks, you would just be able to put this infantry tray next to a Kugelwagen. It's just the Kugelwagen on a vehicle tray with it. It doesn't really work in Tabletop Simulator. So instead, we kind of just have this one model that stands in the back, and then
Oh,
you keep the model
there.
on the side.
That
But
was the round. So it was 3
wow,
rounds
yep.
they played. That was quick.
I think both players kind of get what they want here. Arguably, I would say Apple's in a tough spot for a couple reasons. We'll see what happens as we enter the damage phase.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to switch us over to the damage phase. So why Apple's in a tough spot is because the Kugelwagen and the Panzer Grenadiers, which can shoot out of the Kugelwagen, can actually attack these conscripts, and in turn, what they're able to do is not trigger any defense dice because there's basically only light cover coming from below the hill. And then the grenadiers inside also can attack. So folks, we got
Yeah.
3 AI from just those units alone, 1 HE from the grenadiers, and then the Panzer Grenadiers don't have any defense upgrade. So it's a AP die. So we got 3
Yeah.
AI, 1 AP and 1 HE, which the infantry will get a defense die from the armor piercing damage. And it does look like he is not going to retreat. He does want to capture this. I think the plan is, obviously he has pretty good chance of living this unless it's a crit. But
That would be scary for him, a crit.
it's a 1 in 6 chance, folks. So we'll see. Oh, the other armor piercing from the AP from the bunker. That actually almost makes it a 50-50 math-wise. It is very close. But even if this guy dies, I don't think he's in a bad position. He is capturing 2 other victory points, as we see at the kind of the top of the screen here. So I don't think Apple is in a bad spot whatsoever, even if he loses this unit. But again, this is just classic Apple, relying on aggression, choosing to not opt into fighting for the bunker. I think it's a safe choice as well. And here we go, rolling for the HE. That's a hit. So that...
No, it was a save for the Kubel.
Oh, it was a save for the Kubel, so he
Yeah,
did that
now
first.
he was rolling the HE.
Oh,
and it fills.
So that is...
That.
Oh, but he still dies! What?
It still dies!
Oh, no.
Woo!
Wow!
Wow, amazing.
Chris
Amazing,
joining
that
us
roll.
here. I don't know if Chris is available. What did you think of that, Chris?
He thought he was saved, but then he lost it.
Yeah,
I saw that
was
this
an
on the
expensive
crit. I'm
one.
like, oh, he's got it. Really aggressive. What a payoff if he had gotten that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
would have expected him to build barbed wire next round and try to basically force an assault of it, which would have been cool to see. Because he's still got a lot of stuff coming up the board. I do think this conscript topped out, so I'm going to switch it for him. Hopefully we do get some interviews at the end of this one, because that was very spicy.
Definitely.
Steven with a very good comment. I disagree. I need time to save up and get a bigger table. Steven, I have to say, if you haven't seen that 2v2 show match from last week, that was incredible. Just the new layouts, the action on that one. Rudy can attest to it. He was playing in it as
Yeah.
British. It's a blast. So yeah, it's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit more of that what we call that square configuration, but those maps are just a real blast to play on. So the players now are going into the supply phase, and we will be seeing victory points. So it looks like here we have Apple with 2. So let's
Yeah.
update that. So score 1, Apple is going to be up to 2. And
And
looks like
Dugo has
Dugo
1.
should be at 1. So there we go. Scores have been updated, folks. So yeah, just to introduce them again, obviously Apple, basically one of the lead play testers, was just very integral with a lot of the balance changes. And then Dugo, just the EU tournament champion, fairly new to the game, and this guy just came through and just stormed the tournament and just made it all the way through, beating Tassos, who had a lot of playtesting experience. So it was just great to see someone, a new backer. So folks, still learn the rules, play tomorrow, and you have a chance to win the U.S. tournament 10 a.m. The winner does get an all-in bundle, $614, just a huge, basically one of everything, and then you get to pick an extra faction for if you want to play 3v3s. So just pretty cool bundle that we're offering for the tournament winner. So Dugo's excited to get that because I think he wanted to go all in anyway. So it's just I think he, everything he said to me about it, just really excited to have won and had a chance to do it really. So as we're seeing the players in the supply phase, not really too many surprises from Apple over here. Let me just stay from the blue perspective. And he just grabbed the flame upgrade on the conscript. So just for 2 XP, players can get that flame damage upgrade, which is really good for fighting into the bunker from outside, because even though they get 3 defense die, 1 damage is going to go through. So that's good against light vehicles as well. Light vehicles don't get a defense die, as you can see on the back of the tier 3 building here. You see that the yellow health is the light vehicles, and the flame just goes right through with that dash. No defenses there. So with that
And
said,
looks like
oh, and he gets another one on the other side. Rudy, what do you think? Is he just going to fight the bunker all in?
yeah, he could. He could. I also see that Dugo got his last brigade card. He went for the 251 half track.
Nice.
So I'm wondering what
That
he
double
will
flame's
do.
gonna be really useful.
He just spawned one, so let's see what he will make of it. I'm curious.
Yeah, so folks, this is out of that Lost Brigades expansion, and this unit is as well. So not only is this a mechanism, this is kind of the building board extension mechanism that's optional again if you're just joining us. This is also basically the cool new Wehrmacht option for spawning forward. So that's kind of that text there that you see. Infantry can spawn adjacent to the SDKFZ251. Basically, they spawn with slow adjacent, but they can spawn forward. So I don't think this is a real shocker here. Again, especially with that configurable option that was thrown on this week. I think this is just a great option to pull out on this map. And then that kind of frees up commanders. We're probably not going to see Lightning War, but you could still go Lightning War. That would actually be an interesting combination, but I'm not really expecting that too much now. Maybe you go Panzer Corps here or a Stug Assault, but we'll see what he picks as he's out of XP for this round. So I imagine they're looking to go into the next round here.
Yeah. I'm looking, but I can't see Dugo's Panzer Grenadiers anywhere. I think he might accidentally removed?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they're figuring
Yeah.
it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a side note, the Train Pack 3 poll is now live. I thought the factories were going to be a shoe-in, but I think you may be slanting the vote with this match that you're broadcasting, Brad.
Yeah, I think a
Really
lot
showcases the bunker nicely. Makes it very sexy looking. And we don't even have the model on there yet.
Yeah, not even without the model, folks. Just the tile really, I think, brings this map up to another level. If you wanted to have another cool map available to you, I think this is gonna bring it to you. So, couple comments. I just want to praise you not only for running an amazing project, but your sheer commitment to a strong feedback loop. Yeah, thank you, Alex. Very appreciated. What are the dimensions of the 2 versus 2 square configuration? I think it's 20, or sorry, each panel's 20 by 30, so therefore it's 40 by 60. That's kind of an easy math one to do. Generic question. Do you usually keep track of units with a maximum health upgrade, particularly when they have lost health? Yes. So there's a die here. I can grab one out of the bag to show you that, Alex. There actually is right here. On the green die, there's a +1, as I can kind of blow it up a little bit here for you. And then in second edition, the
Can I
green...
come back later?
Nope, you can come now.
You can
Perfect
come now.
time. I was
Yeah.
just talking about the plus health, but wow, Apple, no surprise on the aggression, but the rolls. It was interesting because the HE, if I remember right, the HE missed on you. So we're like, oh, he's going to live. And then you rolled 2 reds against the armor piercing. Wow. So, man.
I mean, that's fine. It was a host of resources, but I knew I was winning in victory points and control points. That's why I was willing to make the trade. And there was a lot of options for 4XP. I was tempted to actually... The reason why I originally wanted to do it was because I was tempted to go conscript support tactics and then just rebuy him if he dies.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And I was thinking about doing that, but I don't know. I wanted to also just start getting flame upgrades because he's providing a quite strong force up front. So I'm like, let's see if I can at least push him back. But now he needs to go back and capture some of these resource points, and I'm keeping my options open. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I do. I did comment to the viewers that I did like your position even if you lost the unit because you got both of your easy to capture victory points. You got these 2 right here, folks. This kind of centered one here, this other one in the building, and then you also got this manpower fuel on the wing outside there. So you got everything. Where Dugo dove to really capture that bunker early. So all things considered, I don't think that was too bad for you. So are you feeling pretty confident going into this next round, having that VP lead where now he's going to have to backtrack and now you kind of have free reign over the aggression now, or what are you planning for this next round?
Yeah, I feel kind of safe knowing that he now has to backtrack a little bit. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but we'll see.
Yeah, I do like to see the flame. That's one thing that we've discussed multiple times with the conscripts is they only have 3 health out of the gate. You did spread the health around, so 1 on 1 and 1 on the other one, so they're both up to 4 health now, so they can compete toe to toe with other infantry. And then the flame just is really great attacking into the bunker, so just a lot of flexibility there. So, any final thoughts, Rudy?
No. I'm curious to see how everything will play out. So it looks really interesting, especially with the flame upgrades on his conscript. So yeah, we'll see what the next round will bring.
Yeah, these speed days are going to be very critical, but good luck to you, Apple.
Yeah.
All right, as Apple heads down, we're going to have Dugo joining us here any second. And I like Dugo's positioning here, all things. He has the bunker. He did get that unit kill, which was a nice unit kill because that was upgraded to 5 health, folks, and he was able to take out that conscript. What do you think, Dugo, on taking out that conscript? Were you pretty excited about that?
Yeah, but I feel lucky because he missed his 2 rolls, his 2 defense rolls. So yeah, bad luck for him. But now I'm inside the bunker, so that was the plan, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah, so that plan's working out for you. However, he is up on victory point, capture points in particular. So what's your plan going into this next round? I have to say we are I think the whole audience, or at least most of us, at least I am, I guess maybe I'm speaking too much for other people, but seeing that 251 configurable half track out of the Lost Brigades expansion, seeing that come into play this early, and basically be configurable later on if you want it. Are you pretty excited bringing that unit out in this matchup?
Yeah, because I want to be able to spawn infantry near the bunker, so it's gonna be useful for that.
Right.
And yeah, I think it's a good idea to use it. When I saw it in the three last brigade cards, I was like, this one is interesting. And yeah, so now I will choose the operation card, and I will probably go long because he has speed dice. So
yeah, so you heard it from the champ first, folks. Going against the Soviets, go long so you can get the command points to equal all those speed dice out. So I think that's a smart play. You have a lot to capture, and at 251 coming forward, you didn't get anything in it yet, but do you have any plans yet for a commander, perhaps, or are you just going to wait and see a little bit?
I probably wait and see.
No, that's very fair. I mean, we already kind of went over your commanders, and I think they're all a great option. Probably not as much that Lightning Whir doctrine, because it also unlocked the 251. But it also spawns it for free, so it's not really that bad, even though it has it. That's kind of the point of these commanders is sometimes you'll get one that just works so well with that unit. So even if you get the Lost Brigade, you're like kind of second guessing yourself, should I get that unit anyway? Because the Ostrupen can work really well with the 251. So I still wouldn't be surprised if I see that one. But any final thoughts going into this? But you're gonna go aggressive? You're gonna try to just kind of capture and play it safe?
The first move will be to move the Panzer Grenadier inside the bunker.
Yeah.
And the Grenadier also. And then I will try to cap as many flags as I can. But first the bunker.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, Dugo, good luck to you going into the next round.
See you.
See you. So, yeah, I think that's a good play with the Panzer Grenadiers, because, again, whenever you're in a bunker shooting out, you get an extra AP damage die. But some other questions from the chat. Votes are 100% for factories right now. That's no surprising, folks. Those factories look awesome and are just going to give you a lot of flexibility if you vote for that. Sneak this question in here. Are you going to combine all rulebooks in a single rulebook? So all of the rules are in the rulebook. So in first edition, there was a basic and an advanced. Now all the rules are in the rulebook. There is the FAQ, which is going to have all the commander details. If you have a question about a specific faction, any kind of FAQ thing, there's currently a glossary. We might consider basically switching it, but at least possibly adding an index to the main rule book. But there's kind of a lot of feedback and discussion we're going to have over that still. We do want to make it as good as possible. And then, cool, thanks. Didn't notice that the die in 2.03 rulebook, but might have missed it. Either way, good to know. I'm not sure if that's referring to the bunker, but yeah, it's easy to kind of just put that die on top to kind of show that. But that's kind of a nice thing to have.
What I do find a little bit curious, maybe I will ask Dugo later why he didn't choose an MG team to get it inside the bunker, because that would be a great option to stall maybe the infantry.
Yeah, neither player started with a weapon team, and that's not too surprising on this map in particular, just because a lot of mobile infantry to capture points, just your regular infantry are just so nice to have. We do see the anti-tank gun from the Soviet player. I actually think that's a really cool option. What I'd actually like to see is almost maybe that scout car backing up to probably pick up that AT gun to be able to bring it around on the side or the flank or something interesting, because we'll see what happens there. He could just set it up there. There is heavy cover there, folks, on that hex. So we'll see what happens there. It looks like he does just set it up. I think that's a great option, too, because that's going to cover both of these victory points, basically denying that Kubelwagen to come around and capture, but we'll see here. Yeah, another comment. Scott, I'm a greedy... You know what? We need both factories and super bunkers. Yeah, I know. I just want them all to. I don't blame you one bit, Scott. Was referring to the max health die. Yeah, so that health die is basically that was in first edition. In second edition, I was trying to touch on. I don't think I got to it. We're going to be looking to slightly tweak a few of the dice, and we should be getting right, Chris, the +2 health on the green die. So
We are. Yeah,
that,
it'll
yep.
have.
Nice.
I like the new, just some subtle shifts on the dice and some breaking them out and kind of organizing them a little bit. Especially now that the green or formerly elite infantry dice are now just part of the basic kit.
Right.
So we were able to like lean into those a little bit more.
Yeah, that'll be nice, especially for the conscripts, because they can go from 3 to 5. So just being able to have a +2 there with just one die will be fantastic, because it is just a max health die.
Yeah. It looks like Dugo has put on the front in the bunkers. So he put his Panzer Grenadiers and his regular Grenadiers on either side of them. So, and Apple is moving some conscripts past the bunker. I don't know if he's going to go inside there or not, but we'll see. Oh, and there comes sandbags. That's a smart choice. Giving the infantry there an extra defense die, of course. Just a little bit more protection.
Yeah, no surprises from either player so far. Just looking, you kind of see, which is very going to be interesting here, is that the Soviet player is looking to play around the bunkers, and I think it actually can pay off for him. It's interesting that he set up sandbags with this conscript over here. That is going to give him 2 defense dice, but the Grenadiers and the Panzer Grenadiers have 3 range, but it does look like the building actually blocks. So that's actually a bad hex to be in. It would have been better if the Panzer Grenadiers were center, if they wanted to help focus on those conscripts over there. So we'll see how that plays out. But I really do like what the Soviet player is doing, just kind of leaning into the aggression. You can't kill all of us, just typical Soviet fashion. It's so great to see. So we'll see how the Wehrmacht vehicles that are kind of marching forward here, how they come into play. It's nice to see that Kubelwagen here, probably going to capture that VP and munitions. It's just a nice safe play there.
Oh, that is probably going to hurt.
Wow.
I saw Apple moving onto the fuel manpower point. I think Dugo wants to go there with his Grenadiers.
Well, Dugo was there and he
yeah.
left. And what is he going to do? He does look like there is still CP, folks. It is a 3 to 5. It does look like it is going to be a 5. So 15 cubes this round, all under the timer. He does only have 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll see if nope. He did get the drop of that cube, but he did get to spend 14 of the cubes. And he didn't. Oh, he did look like he assaulted the conscripts, I believe.
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be cool because this 251 also has 3 range, so he'll be able to support the Grenadiers who also have the initial AI damage plus the HE. So we'll see what happens. Although, was there an assault there? I kind of hit spacebar as I was trying to talk to the people here. So if there was an assault, if there's an assault, then you can't build battlefield defenses. Just reminding the player. Okay, no, there's not. Okay, cool. Just trying to check. So what I was trying to make sure that the players were doing, folks, is that once you initiate an assault, the defending player can't be like, okay, well, you're assaulting me, let me just build sandbags. So that's kind of a timing thing that's very critical with assault, just so that the defender can't like bait you into it and then build battlefield defenses. Once you know at that moment of assault, you know that sandbags aren't going to be there. And that can especially come into play with this 251, which in this case that would have triggered the battlefield defenses, even though the Grenadiers here attacking it from across, basically they'd be hopping over the sandbags. They wouldn't trigger it, but the 251, if it attacked, would trigger the sandbag defense. So just kind of these things that are very important as we enter the damage phase. So we'll see what happens. There's definitely going to be a lot of damage spread around this round.
Yeah. That will hurt his grenadiers, the flame and the AI just in the open without any cover.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate that he couldn't get the 251 or the Kubelwagen adjacent to the Grenadiers. So, because both of those have reinforce options, at least the 251 has it out of the gate, and then the Kubelwagen can get it with an upgrade. So, we'll see what happens here. But I think overall, it's unfortunate because he didn't assault it, which he wasn't going to probably kill the conscripts anyway, so it's really tough to say what the play was. He did have a lot of time issues at that point. He had one CP left, but what are you going to do? It's really tough to say if you assault or not, because again, I guess the sandbags were already there. He probably called it out, but didn't get the model on the board yet because they're just playing with the timers. So we'll see on the other spots of the board. Very nice to see a lot of dice spread around. That the Panzer Grenadiers did step out of the building, which was kind of cool to see because they're now fighting these conscripts over here. They're just basically fighting a little downhill battle, so they actually get the cover. You notice in second edition, basically one thing I want to point out is almost all this cover on the hill, I think all of it actually does now, face downhill, right? Because you get the hill advantage basically, so you kind of see as you kind of cross the crest of the hill that when you hop out, you even still get one nice light covered die. So that can kind of come into handy as those Panzer Grenadiers also have that defense die upgrade, so they'll be, they're not going to be, they're possibly able to just shrug off. It does have just that one AI damage, so they were probably fine. But the AP damage coming from the back here, that AT gun, I do like that choice again, just because it's good to get it out early, and then it's got heavy cover back there, so it's in a nice spot. We'll see if that helps out and lands some damage on this Panzer Grenadier as we go into the damage phase. I think they should be almost done assigning damage. Over here, we do have the scout car and a conscript, both focus firing on the Grenadiers in the bunker, and then in turn, ooh, I do like the option. What do you think, Rudy, of the Grenadier attacking the scout car? It is a big risk, folks. So what happens here in this interaction is the AP damage from the bunker is going to guaranteed reduce the scout car down to 1, but the AI and the HE, the scout car is going to get defense dice against. So if it lives, it'll live with 1 health, and then the conscripts will bring it back to full and repairing it in the supply phase. So just kind of very critical. It could kind of be all for or nothing there. But there wasn't really too much of a choice with the sandbags helping out the conscripts. So we'll see how that all plays out. Just a lot of cool battles going on.
Scout car would be the better option to shoot at.
Yeah, it'd be a nice pickup, definitely, if he can get it. So.
Yeah. And we'll
Even
see
with
if
that
Apple
flame
is
upgrade, it's going to take a while to whittle down those grenadiers.
Yeah, for sure.
In that bunker.
Yeah.
I think as this goes on, though, we may see some votes switching. Quick, edit your vote, go for the mega bunker. But we'll see. So, yeah, we just have this kind of a little bit of skirmishes all around. I think we're imagining going to see the dice rolling. I'm sure they're probably discussing maybe some clarifications right now, but not really too many surprises here with what was captured. The Wehrmacht player did, as Apple predicted, have to kind of capture these capture points that are a little bit back here towards their side of the map. So we kind of see here basically that building being captured and this Kubelwagen being captured here, as my keys are a little bit. Sure, I had a little lag spike.
Dugo was on that lower fuel and manpower point, but he left. Is that right?
Yeah, that was he moved off, and I wasn't sure why. And I think it's gonna come back to haunt him a little bit. So we'll see what happens here.
I don't think he was expecting Apple to dive on it.
Yeah, once you play Apple, you know what Apple is gonna do. So folks, it's just just the nonstop aggression, and you can kind of see no retreats and just a nonstop aggression, and he got the neutralize. So even if the HE crits and he somehow rolls 2 reds and the luck goes against him again, just neutralizing that point, then the Grenadier has to waste a turn hopping back on because he didn't assault. So I think I would have assaulted there because he had 1 cube. I would have just quickly threw it on because it was either assault or throw up sandbags, and you have to make that split-second decision with the timer. And I think again the timer pressure, it's tough. You just either got to throw the cube and make a quick decision one way or the other. But we'll see how this turns out. I think that's not a bad turnout either for Apple because he's going to do at least, yeah, he's just going to do that straight 2 damage to that Grenadier because there's no defense there. So
Looks like that Apple is AFK at the moment. Shouldn't be too long, Hugo said. So
okay.
he asked if he could come in for the interview right now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Looks like
Great to see this 251 in action.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
I know it's one that you're particularly excited about and definitely wanted in this expansion. So do go. Little stoppage of play here. What are you expecting with this damage phase?
I'm not sure. I expect to kill his scout car. Would be nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I did a mistake moving the Grenadier on the far left.
Yeah, we did talk about that. You kind of ran into some time pressure in the end.
Yeah.
I was kind of telling the viewers that it's one of those split-second decisions where you got to build, okay, I'm building sandbags or I'm assaulting. And it's one thing as you get more familiar with the time pressure, especially when someone's just never just basically that unrelentless aggression from Apple diving on the point. We said like, what were you expecting hopping one off? You kind of baited him in, and then unfortunately we'll see what happens. But with him getting the sandbags down, chances are he'll survive. So it's unfortunate that he at least is going to get it neutralized, and then we'll see what he does next round. But not building the sandbags either. So you'll just be eating 2 damage on those Grenadiers. So all things considered, what are you feeling? Are you feeling the time pressure? I mean, that was what 15 CP all in 3 minutes. I mean,
I should go short. It was also another mistake. I think 3 phase was enough for me. So
yeah, it's tough.
Okay.
It was tough to say because your Panzer Grenadiers hopping in the bunker and then hopping out. That was kind of shocking to see. I thought basically you kind of gave him leeway to move the scout car forward because if your Panzer Grenadiers alone would have been able to take out basically with the extra AP damage, the 1 base AP would have been able to take out the scout car alone. So it was just a lot of tough, quick second decisions. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah. So what do you think of this map so far with the mega bunker?
Yeah, seems interesting. We'll see if getting the bunker can help me push him out of the victory point in the middle. And now I'm gonna use the Earthshock to spawn infantry nearby, especially a mortar, I think.
Oh, interesting. Mortar. Yeah.
I don't know if I'll go mortar or MG.
It's interesting, MG. On that note, I know Rudy said earlier to the chat he was kind of shocked you didn't try to get an MG into the bunker. Do you have any regrets, perhaps, on that front, or?
No, because I think the MG should be in the bunker after you secure it. Well, because if the Panzer Grenadier, for instance, was a MG, it would be easier for him to go around, and my MG will do nothing. But now that I have sort of secure the bunker, maybe I can put an MG inside.
But yeah, that is an interesting
Fair
analysis there. I was saying just one thing to also note is just the mobility itself, especially with this. There's just so many points on this map, and playing against Soviets, it's really tough because the MGs can prevent some aggression, and on the flip side, yeah, they're kind of immobile, so it is a tough little choice, both sides of the coin on that one. So we'll see what plays out there. But yeah, your plans at the 251. Chris was excited to see it. Basically from, again, the Lost Brigades. I think it's just a cool little option that Wehrmacht doesn't have with any other units. Oh, a comment from the audience. Votes are 24-0 for factories already. Bye-bye, Mega Bunker. See, Chris, I can't even sway the people showing off this map. I don't know if he's still available, but yeah, I think this mega bunker is pretty awesome. But
hmm
the factories also are just a little bit more flexible. So we'll
Yeah.
we'll see if we get the next 25 voters voting the other way. But I don't blame them if they don't
Yeah, the
keep
bunker
voting
is
this way.
kind of niche since it's so far only on this map, right?
Yeah, it's only on this map so far, but I really just wanted to showcase it on this map, and then we
Mm-hmm.
could easily kind of, throw it on some other map and kind of highlight it, or have it kind of be a secondary feature, kind of like Ardennes Forest, where you have a bunker and a cathedral, but they're off-centered. So we kind of saw that in the tournament EU last week, the second round, the basically semifinals, where you kind of have the center of the board, which is interesting between smaller buildings, and then this bunker and cathedral that are highlights of the outside, the outskirts of the battle. So it's kind of interesting to see
Yeah.
different layouts, how that can have an impact. Because like a bunker on the side, for instance, would have just so much of a different role than it is dead center, you know? So,
Yeah.
24 to 1. Woo! We got somebody, but was that you, Rudy?
What?
We had one vote for the mega bunker now. So it's
Oh
turning
no,
around, folks.
no, it's not me.
Maybe it was me. I'll have to go vote and make it two. Um, but yeah, nice to see that the Kubowagen. Now, I want to touch on this, Dugo, as you're here.
hmm
The Kubowagen is kind of limited a little bit with that AT gun. Were you surprised to see that this early from Apple?
Yeah,
Or
completely. Yeah.
yeah, do you think it's a kind of a good option for him, or do you think you could kind of make it kind of a not worthy investment if you play
Well,
smart?
I can still hide the Cobalt wagon behind the
hmm
bunker and use it to reinforce my infantry, so shouldn't be a problem.
hmm
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if that comes into play
If
because
he's really aggressive with it, yeah, I'll just hide the Cobalt wagon or use it to cap somewhere else.
yeah, the Kugelwagen folks can get upgraded with the speed die, which you did opt for, so
hmm
you might be able to weave around and play around it. So, what do you think, Rudy?
Yeah, it can go either way. Still, of course, in this battle, a lot will be depending as well on the scout car if it gets destroyed or not,
Yeah.
because it still can be moving in and out units quickly for him if necessary. Or can it capture as well? I don't. Yeah,
Oh, oh yeah,
yeah,
he can,
yeah.
he can.
He can capture with it as well. So it would be nice to yeah get that scout car
Yeah,
out of the field.
yeah, I agree.
Are you also worried about the AT gun to go? Because you're
Uh,
putting now some vehicles out on the field and still
yeah,
on a bit on the back line, but
yeah. Once again, those vehicles are like only to support, like behind the lines.
yeah. Okay,
So
cool.
I can hide it behind the bunker
Yeah.
and like reinforced and by infantry next to the bunker.
hmm
So
Yeah, I'm really
I'm not
excited. Yep, I'm kind of
I'm not
really
too worried.
yeah, I'm really expecting a lot out of this 251. Now,
hmm
let's see, have you been saving up manpower? You haven't. You have a little bit, and your income is 3 manpower right now.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll
So
see how
yeah,
that
that's
turns
why
out
I
for
need
you.
to make a choice between motor and MG. And I could also go for Ostroupen since they cost only 3
Three
manpower.
manpower
Well,
for 2 units
yeah,
or 2 squads. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not sure. I think I
Yeah.
will go MG
hmm
42 and we'll see then.
Yeah, if you got the MG, obviously you keep your commander options a little bit more open.
Mhm.
Are you by any chance using this time to plan that out yet, or are you still kind of waiting to see with your commander?
For the commander choice, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just wait. I think one more
Mhm.
turn, maybe two.
What's
Um,
mhm.
I like the last one, but I think it works only when uh, during endgame.
Interesting?
So,
Yeah,
we'll see.
interesting analysis. Yeah, so within game, I think what Dugo might be alluding to is that smoke canisters is very nice on like a
hmm
Kubelwagen to throw it on a spot that can capture and then put up smoke on it. That's one option with the smoke canisters. Armor Blitzkrieg is just nice, especially as you get more vehicles out. And then the Elite Sturmpanzer just no longer having slow, especially on a long map like this.
Yeah,
I don't think
very
that's
good.
a bad choice at all. And then getting the basically one free Kubelwagen out of the gate, I think can come in handy as well. However, I kind of would have liked to see the Stug
Stug?
Assault Doctrine, just with that close
Yeah,
range firepower. That
Duke
would have
life it
been,
is.
yeah, Stug Life. I mean, who blames Stug Life, folks? Yeah, the extra close range firepower, you could, I think, had so much firepower coming out of the bunker where, oh, come at me, and then you charge out at them. Would have been pretty cool to see if that
yeah, but
happened.
right now I'm a little bit starving on
Mhm.
ammunition, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I also plan to upgrade the 251
Mhm.
with flame, so we'll see.
Ooh, with a double flame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is nice to point out.
Yeah,
Yeah, folks.
double flame on 3 range. That is oof.
Hello, little one. Yeah, that.
Painful.
Unfortunately, I cannot do it this turn, but
Yeah, you are a
because
little
of the
bit
small
low.
mistake, well, I didn't cap this point yet, so
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's just, do you want to fight or do you want to capture points, especially on a map like this?
yeah, the idea was to secure the bunker, then capture,
Mhm.
but he's already on my flank with his conscript. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna check if Apple is back.
Okay.
Yeah.
See you.
So yeah, folks, that was my daughter joining us on screen a little bit. But coming back to the game, yeah, I would say it's anybody's game, obviously, this early. But I think both players are playing pretty well. There's not really any mistakes. Even losing a guy from a Soviet, losing that conscripts, wasn't really that big of a deal this early point because you can kind of see second edition. You have enough resources. It's like you can't even notice looking at the board, can you, Rudy? That he's down a unit, right?
No, he still has a big presence, of course, especially on Dugo's left flank.
Mm-hmm.
The right flank looks a little bit weaker, of course, with just that single conscript there with the scout car behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see how this plays out. It's really unfortunate that he did lose that conscript squad because yeah, it was 5 health. There was infested in there, so it costed him 4 munitions to get him to the 5 health. So yeah, cost wise, yeah, it's really unfortunate that he lost it. But yeah, we have to see. Apple, like you said, is an aggressive player. You can also see it in the whole play he did. Oh, and it looks like they are rolling.
Nice. Okay, folks.
And
Sorry for that delay. I'm sure Apple probably had something to attend to,
yeah,
especially on short notice. That it's kind of my fault. And looks like they are just getting right into it. The deterministic
conscripts
damage.
lost 1. Oh, and that conscript losses.
Ooh, that's starting to add up because now you can start to
Yeah,
see as the damage dice are assigned out. We were just kind of touching
yeah.
on the amount of losses potential, even though he had a lot of units on the board, just showing where this aggression can kind of backfire. So we'll see how this plays out with this Panzer Grenadiers. 4 defense
And he
dice, and
saves.
he had only
Nice.
3 incoming damage, so he's fine.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
The high explosive roll on the scout car. Oh, and he misses. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Dugo, but I think that kind of keeps things a little bit.
Oh, and it's still destroyed.
Oh!
Oh!
We saw it twice with the HE misses, and then the rolls just land anyway. Wow,
that's unfortunate.
yeah,
That's
cause
gotta hurt for
yeah,
him.
you just each time you're like, okay, the HE missed, he's gonna live, and then nope. So yeah, now the Grenadiers, I think they're figuring that out, and I think the dice are gonna be rolled. Oh, he's
Oh
done!
no!
What?
It's
No,
dead.
oh, no, he's got 1. Oh, only 3 damage. Wow, folks. 3 reds. That's a 1 in what?
Whoa.
256 chance? That is crazy.
Oh, that poor
This
spot.
is really heating up really early.
Yeah.
Coming into that damage phase, you're like, oh, no, these small skirmishes, nothing's gonna happen. Things are gonna be fine. That scout car is gonna live. No big deal. But wow, just the impact from that damage phase.
Yeah.
Coming out now, like having that Panzer Grenadier. I actually like Dugo's positioning now at this spot. Those Panzer Grenadiers just don't really have any scary targets to deal with them. So we'll see how. I'm very curious to see how the Soviet player responds, how Apple responds here. But as we go into the supply phase, we will be having the scores updating here. It does look like going in, we are going to have, looks like Apple at 5. So we'll update his score. And
Hugo captured 2 victory points.
so Dugo captured 2 points, so he's at 4. So
Yeah,
we're gonna
right.
just update that for the viewers joining us. So there we go, folks. 5-4, just very tight game already. But I don't know. I still think I favor Dugo's position. He did capture, as you kind of pointed out. He's got 2 victory points. Looking at his resources, I think he updated them as they entered the supply phase. So I think he's fine. I do like those Panzer Grenadiers. And then looking at Apple's stockpiles, he's got 5 manpower. So basically, what I want to point out with that is that diving forward play and capturing that manpower away from Dugo, where Dugo is pointing out, oh, what 1 unit am I gonna get? What am I gonna go? And we start to see Dugo pick up that MG here, kind of in the center of the screen, right
Yep.
next to that 251. Because again, folks, that 251 infantry can spawn adjacent with slow the first round. So we're gonna see Dugo really leaning heavily, as I imagine, into that. But on the flip side, we'll see what the Soviet player goes, right? He has, look at that. Wow. Just laying out 3 XP into his
3.
first tier. What are we going to see, folks? We're going to see that conscript support tactics. Apple already alluded to this, and it's kind of no surprise. Because now he just basically frees up all of his munitions. So what's going to go on is now these conscripts already have full health. So we're basically going to have all of these conscripts, boom, just like that. They're going to be at full health, where essentially all those munition upgrades now for each and every conscript that he makes for the rest of the game already has both of those. So saving 4 munitions on each and every conscript, folks. So that's a nice one, because also 1 spawns for free. We're going to see that spawn in the back line here. But what do you do now? I mean, he's still got 7 manpower. So what's he going to go? He could easily go another one. He could go a scout car, but he didn't spawn a new scout car first. So I think he's just gonna live with it. I think that's fine. I don't really think there's any rush to get another scout car, especially with these conscript commanders, and they have a speed die. So we'll see how that plays out. Yep. So then on the flip side, what are we gonna see from Dugo? Let's see what he's planning over here.
He just upgraded his MG team with an extra AI damage, I saw.
Yeah, no surprise there, and he still has 3 XP, so I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Panzer Corps, but he doesn't really need to this round because he doesn't have enough manpower or anything to really get from Tier 3. The question is, does he want the Kubelwagen or not? It's really tough to say. I would say it's not a bad idea because you can get it out and start moving it. So it's not really, it's not really a bad play because it gets that speed die, so you can get it out on the board and rolling. But looking back at the board, folks, we do see that MG does have slow. It does kind of put it in a tough spot because it has slow. It can't move. Basically, it can only move 2 total CP, so he can't move it 2 and then into the bunker and then set it up. So it's going to be an interesting spot where maybe he just points it at the VP here to stop these conscripts. I don't think that's a bad play. You might argue that's a waste, but again, it completely prevents the enemy from doing anything with that. Kind of how Apple's been sneaky. So sometimes, again, that's kind of a good value to get from MGs.
Yeah, and he can still see the capture point, or if Apple would move there, he can still see it with his MG team, but he can't shoot back at it. So.
Oh yeah, I mean he gets just set up for 1 CP is what I was trying to highlight. But yeah, I mean a lot of options, because also he can just hop in the 251 and just be ready and adjustable next round with just moving it around. So even though it's spawning here, he can hop in, go wherever
And
he
we
needs
get
to.
the T-34 from Apple.
Yeah, T-34. It's kind of nice to see, especially because that Soviet, just the cheap, inexpensive Tier 3, the T-34. He can, if he wants to grab that heroic sacrifice down the road, there's not any reason to grab it yet because there's nothing that could hurt it at this point. Probably just expect to either use it elsewhere and sit on it. I think he's choosing which way he wants to go, and looks like he's gonna go with grabbing a health for that conscript. Yeah, just making it more flexible. So again, those viewers new to the game, new to second edition, wondering why certain factions don't necessarily have reinforce, it's because of this, right? These conscripts, they're on the board and they kind of reinforce themselves. They just can just throw on another guy, just another guy joining that squad, just for again, just two munitions in this case. So just seeing that in action, it's like, they have it already. They don't need some unit to support them. You can just send them to the front. So just the Soviets, the OKW, even though they do have reinforced, they just, have a heavily, tier 1 infantry play that OKW. And then British can also do that as well, kind of just increase their health by 1. So, just because you don't have reinforced doesn't mean you can't rely on your infantry, as we're seeing just so much aggression this, play so far out of Apple.
So it looks like Apple's choosing his operation card now.
Wow, going 2 to 4. That is interesting to see. I don't want to peek at it, but as we enter the next maneuver phase here, I imagine. He is switching
goes
around.
3 to 5.
Yeah, I think that's a smarter play because now he's actually in the opposite pair of shoes, if you will, because he's got units at the spawn line. He's got.
Oh, and he moves into the bunker.
Yeah, I mean that's
with his
just
2 health conscripts.
Yeah, because that's one thing to know with bunkers. If you have a low health unit diving into a building, because now the enemy, what are they going to do? Are they going to go focus it? It's only got a little bit of health, right? So, and it's not on a capture point, because someone asked at the beginning of the game, what about a victory point in the bunker, right? So it kind of leads to these interesting, nuanced situations where a low health unit hops into the bunker. Do you deal with it? Do you just ignore it? It can threaten so many spots still. It can still move too, so it can still move to where this Kubelwagen is if this Kubelwagen leaves. So it just raises a lot of questions, like what do you do now as the Wehrmacht player? Because if you advance forward, I would like to see this what's going to happen here at this Kubel. Looks like he was perhaps looking to move it, but I think it's going to be a very critical unit here in this maneuver phase for the Wehrmacht player. Very interesting to see which way he goes. Just kind of centers it. Kind of like he said, folks. He did just say just maybe go near the bunker, offer reinforce, offer support.
Goes inside with the Panzer Grenadiers.
See, I actually disagree with that play massively, right? And the reason why, he's right near this victory point. Okay, yeah, this T-34 is moving forward, right? But if he just goes onto that victory point in munitions, he's going to neutralize it unless something comes and assaults him this turn. The only thing that could really do it if these conscripts dive all the way across. I don't know, folks. I think I would have liked to see just him moving up and building sandbags, because this T-34, it is nice to see even with the AI upgrade and I guess the conscripts with the flame. Maybe he's just playing it safe, but these Panzer Grenadiers with the sandbag are still very hard to kill. So it's really tough to say, do you sacrifice them to neutralize that point and perhaps capture it? It's really tough to say because there's a lot of implications that could have on the outcome of the game. So we'll see. I think he's just playing it safe. Not a bad play. The victory, even though he's down on victory points, he does have a lot of units in the center of the map. And wow, we do see a very interesting play. Very curious that the Grenadiers are assaulting the conscripts, because that's, you would say, why would you assault with a 2 health unit, right? Because it's just going to die, right, Rudy?
Mm-hmm.
But now the conscripts are like, do I leave it? Do I stay there? Because now they're kind of locked in. So a lot of questions with assault, like why would you do it? You can kind of see as these experienced players now, this Dugo, again, the champ, the EU champion, just throwing that cube out there, making that.
I think it could be a trade if they are not retreating from it, because the 251 can also shoot at it, but he can't build defenses. So if he doesn't do anything with those conscripts,
Right.
they are dead,
Right. So he's kind of locked in
or
an
a big
interesting
chance
spot
at
there.
least.
The MG does move forward. I don't think that's a bad play.
He's going to set up. Oh,
Oh, see, now you kind of see the next step in his
yeah,
plan, folks, is he's going to move there and set up to pin those conscripts. So
yeah.
those conscripts, what I would kind of expect the conscripts to do is just take a step forward with their speed die. Then they can still trade, but the grenadiers could then build sandbags and perhaps live from the AI damage. So yeah, it's really tough to say. I think that was a very good play from Dugo. It kind of gives them a big advantage of winning back that point. However, you kind of see with this mega bunker, right? They're fighting room to room. You wanted to see it, folks. You're going to see it now. The Panzer Grenadiers are in there. Two pairs of conscripts are in there. Or sorry, a pair of conscripts. There, it's just going to be so interesting to see what's going to happen to these Panzer Grenadiers because you think you're safe with the bunker, but now it's a mega bunker. Units are coming in. The conscripts are coming from the outside. Do you attack? Do you trigger the defense? You just attack with what's inside. A lot of potential damage, folks. And then before he leaves, he puts down the barbed wire. I'm just going to make that purple. I do have to think I have to toggle on temporarily the color.
Dugo is out of time.
And Dugo is out of time,
Yeah.
folks. That is tough to say.
I don't know how
To
many
see.
CP is still left for.
Mhm.
I think 2 or 3. I wouldn't be surprised if he would dash his conscripts to that munition manpower point, so they would trade it.
Ah,
One,
what do we see
two. Oh,
it? He goes in,
and
and does he go with it?
not. Isn't he going? Oh,
Interesting. I think he's got a
yeah.
tough decision here because if he goes onto that spot,
I think he wants to go for the kill at those
yeah,
grenadiers.
and stay alive, right? He has a very good chance of staying
Yeah.
alive. I think that's a smart play. Sometimes you want to neutralize the point, but then sometimes you want to stay alive. So a lot of interesting dynamics this round, folks,
Mm-hmm.
as I think we're kind of winding down in
I think it's a bit
the
unfortunate
maneuver
that
phase.
Dugo didn't have the fourth munition, because then I think he would already have purchased the flame upgrade, like you said, for the half track. That
Right.
would be in a much tougher spot for Apple to move those units. Yeah,
Yeah, for
he can't really move away from it.
right, because that would basically be an infantry assaulting machine. That was actually one
Yeah.
cool thing that I researched a lot, that 251, and how the Wehrmacht used those with the Panzer Grenadiers at nighttime. It was kind of just a cool thing that I just really wanted to research because it was just a very interesting point of how these 251s were used, especially with that flame variant. It's just so very
So,
cool. But now
a
coming
lot
in,
happening in the bunker, I see.
yeah, what's
Damn.
interesting about this bunker is I think Apple is going to just take the free kill on the Kugelwagen because those conscripts get a flame and AP die, right? Because the AP from being in the bunker
Yeah.
attacking the Kugelwagen with the flame, we're very likely to see
Yeah,
that.
there it is.
It's going to be the guaranteed kill on the Kugelwagen. So we kind of mentioned it, right?
That's
And
unfortunate.
Dougal mentioned he was going to be safe with it, but I think Apple was like, if, that's why that flame upgrade just comes in so much handy with the Soviet conscripts. Apple coming into this match is like, are conscripts that good? It's very tough to say because that flame upgrade is so powerful but so expensive on experience. But we're seeing just so many flame upgrades early. And yeah, I think it's working out for him, especially with this bunker. Just so many hexes with this bunker. So we'll
Yeah.
see how this comes out, but not too many not really any surprises with the damage getting assigned around. I feel this grenadier, I think he just looks like is going to get targeted by the conscripts in the building. So maybe we'll see some more casualties there. Let's see if these. I think we're gonna see the Kubelwagen attack. Yeah, he's just going to attack that conscript. It is going to get all the defense dice, but he's got the Kubelwagen and the Grenadier attacking in. There's no reason not to attack. Obviously, you get the XP. So you gotta take your chances and see if he'll roll at least 2 reds to get a damage in. But not really any surprises. The Panzer Grenadiers getting attacked from the outside. The flame is going to land no matter what, but he's going to get so many defense dice. He's going to get 3 from being in the bunker, 1 from the defense die, and 2 from the AP. So just a lot of dice are going to be rolled there, but the flame will go through no matter what and bring him down to 4 health. So I think they're signaling what is going to get, what basically experience they get. That's kind of one thing to highlight in second edition. The XP situation in first edition, it was a little bit clunky because it was hard to say, when did you get your 1 XP? Did you not? Where now it's very clean and clear, right? You assign your damage. Okay, I get 1, 2, 3 plus 1. That's 4 XP, and it's just boom, you got it. And then if you lose a unit, just easy to know you're obviously taking a unit off the board. And as we see here, then you'll get 1 XP. So it's just very easy to know when that happens. So it's just so smooth now. Like that was kind of a lot of the design choices of second edition, just kind of smooth these edges around and just make it as clean and smooth as possible. So we see the building roll, and looks like he does get the defense die success. What?
Ooh, 3 reds. Oh,
Wow.
he is not lucky with his defense rolls.
Yeah, I think he's using up his bad luck early.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, he probably regrets
Wow.
he probably regrets not hopping on that manpower munitions now.
I guess so too.
But it's like, do you get the kill? Do you not? The point was neutralized but not captured. So it's all these tough choices, right? Like, do you try to? I don't know. I would say just give him it and get that because he could have still targeted something for XP. So I think he played a little bit greedy trying to get that kill because I think the smart thing was to hop down there. But I mean,
Shoot at the MG team.
What are the odds? What are the odds? Yet the Kuba wagon is gone. What are the odds that you roll 3 reds and die in the building? Just again, very low chance of that happening, folks. So we do see a lot of carnage in the bunker. And now outside the bunker, we see, wow, just more shots landing. Yeah, they're just noting the health upgrades. So
yeah,
again,
this is exciting, Brian.
That speed die. Yeah, we're gonna see what happens to these Panzer Grenadiers, right? Because that flame is gonna go through. So I think they're just gonna do that now, and then they're gonna count out the defense dice. So again, folks, 1 for the defense upgrade, 3 from the building.
Oh, he's rolling 5. It should be 6, right?
And he should be rolling 6.
And he saved everything anyway.
He saved everything anyways. But yeah, just 2 AP. That's 2 defense dice. Building, 3 defense dice. Defense upgrade, 1 defense dice. So 6 was the proper number.
Ooh, 2 reds.
Wow, that's just man. I'm sure Apple is definitely not. Yeah, RNG is no one's friend. Plasma just on point with that comment. Yeah, for sure, man. Just look at the board. There's nothing left. It's just a dead zone around the bunker. We got the Panzer Grenadiers. They're holding strong, but the flame wounding them. We have the 1 health conscript, which somehow lived. I thought with the damage assigned. Oh, because the HE must have missed, right? Because I think he had 1 AI and 1 HE from the Grenadiers. So it's interesting to see that live. So that must have been a miss. And then, yeah, the Kubelwagen dying, a little bit of damage to those conscripts. So this is kind of the perfect commander as Soviets to play into this in a lot of ways, because what we're going to see now is we're probably going to start seeing hit the dirt come into play, perhaps. That's kind of nice because even if you're assaulted, you get defense dice, and having 5 health conscripts, it's just very nice to dive on points and hit the dirt. And then rapid conscription, just kind of giving you endless
hit the dirt right now. So what will Duga do? He swims in experience points now. So
I think for sure. I know what was interesting with Dugo, folks. If you miss, I don't want to spoil that final if you didn't see it yet. That obviously Dugo won. So I mean.
There he goes. He goes for the Panzerkorps doctrine.
Yeah, but he waited too a long time, and a lot of folks say like, is there an advantage to waiting to get your commander? In some ways, yes, but some ways, no, because a lot of time the commanders have just stronger versions of normal things that you could do, that getting it early, even though it gives away your strategy to your opponent, you do gain like so much benefit if you use it and get it early. He could have perhaps, like with Panzerkorps here, just to give you an example, he could have rushed tier 3 and got out one of these cool tier 3 tanks sooner. As we're going to see, kind of for the Soviets having that cheap T-34, right? That's already going to be entering the middle of the board.
Now.
So yeah, we do see like you said, this commander just going to be super unlocked. I don't think he's going to get enough. Oh, does he have enough? Oh wow, folks, he has enough
Yeah,
for the elite Sternpanzer out of the gate. Wow, that
that will
is
be awesome.
that's gonna be awesome to see, folks. He's gonna be spawning Elite Sturmpanzer for free, and he does have to pay to unlock Tier 3, which he can afford. It's gonna be cheaper. It's 2 fuel cheaper, folks, so it's only gonna be 2 manpower, 2 fuel, and then he gets a Sturmpanzer for free. So that's gonna be great to see, especially on this long map. Again, it being able to move 3 is usually not that critical because looking at the Sturmpanzer, you're going to see there on the bottom that it starts with 2 HE. It's just insane defense. It's got to start with the defense die, 6 health, nearly unkillable, but that's slow, limits its movement. Again, it's going to be removed in this commander, but it does have that range upgrade. It does have that splash or HE. Just a really
Yeah.
cool and fun unit for Wehrmacht. And it's the bunker buster, right? And we got the mega bunker. This is just the perfect map for it. If you target that center hex of the bunker, boom with splash. If he gets that splash upgrade, he can just wreak havoc on that bunker. We will have to
Yeah.
decide what we're going to be looking at if that mega bunker is ever basically released, even though the vote's seemingly going the other way. We would be looking at what options we could do with it. Could it be multiple, bunker tiles or whatever, or would it be one big one? We were trying to look at making it multiple because it could run into the cathedral. If it's all one, right, then it has to be indestructible like the cathedral, which is kind of cool, but it's also cool to be able to destroy pieces. So it's a trade-off, but
I'm looking now at the Board Game Geek forum for the Mega Bunker versus Factory. Oh, I
yeah, it looks
just got
like
disconnected.
yeah, my TTS crashed, folks. So
Oh,
I'm sure a save point will fix. I imagine
yeah.
the players are gonna hop up and see what's wrong. But
Yeah.
the good thing about TTS is it has autosave, so should
Yeah,
be
that's
getting into the game shortly. But Rudy, as you're pointing out,
yeah.
We got disconnected.
yeah, my
Yeah,
TTS
correct.
crashed, but autosave should bring it right back up, folks.
My apologies to the folks at home. I had a meeting. Luckily, my wife kept trying to convince them I had to go while I was talking to someone who wouldn't let me leave. But yeah, for the delay.
It's okay. No worries.
Yeah, it's okay. As the game's loading back up, folks, we will be connecting back into the game. As the players are, yep, the load's complete. So the players should be able to start finding the game momentarily as it gets pushed back to the servers. And I don't think, it looks like just that last unit spawn was the only thing that the autosave doesn't have. So I imagine the players will be able to make their purchases once they get back into the game.
I'm missing my entire upkeep. In fact, we're missing a lot of rules, I think. Yeah, we're still in the damage phase.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yep.
I believe I took 1 damage here. We had 1 damage there and 2 damage here.
Yep.
Yep,
So
correct.
that looks like it's good there. We're just gonna get it into the supply phase,
Let's
folks.
see.
But yeah, players should just be able to adjust their stockpiles. Autosave is pretty good though. So coming back in, interesting to have the players here both together. So what did you think of just so many red dice?
I cannot roll well today. It seems to be every time I roll defense die, it's red.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I have to say you kind of laid a nice trap against that Kubu wagon, Apple. Were you pretty excited to see that Kubu wagon go forward there onto that point?
I was willing to see anything happen in the center, whether he moved the Cooper wagon, whether I killed his grenadier, or whether I just focus fired his Panzergren in the center. Like something was gonna happen center.
Mm-hmm.
and he may have sacrificed the Grenadier and the Kubo in order to keep his Panzergren healthy. So
And do you mind if I spawn the motor team here?
yeah,
Instead
that
of,
makes more logical sense. I understand that
thanks.
you spawned it there the first time, but I'm like, I don't know why he didn't spawn it. Though.
Completely. Thanks.
Yeah, so that's all okay with me.
And I was about to say I just removed the slow die from the MG42.
Yep. Let's see. I've had this with.
So, folks, as we're coming back into the game, the players are just kind of right into. It's kind of a combination of interviews and supply phase. So we'll just kind of keep it moving along as we're seeing not really any surprises with a T-34 in the back, another T-34 tank here, and another conscript squad for the Soviet player. As you know, it's kind of what you expect with this commander, right? Just again, looking at this commander, it is just that conscript commander. It is a core commander, so if you just get the Soviet box, you'll be able to see this one. It's just such a fun commander, to focus on. Because even though he's losing so many units, just being able to start another conscript at full health, and then we'll see if rapid conscription comes into play, folks, here. But the players are still going to be making, I think, a couple more purchases, perhaps. Yep, not surprised to see the
Made.
Elite Sturmpanzer from the Wehrmacht player Dugo here coming out. And yeah, let's update the scores here, folks, as we are in the supply phase here. Looks like Dugo's at
Just a
7th.
technicality, Dugo. You need to unlock your tier 3 building first.
Oh yeah, nice. You're right.
So, just saying.
I thought you
Yeah.
did have the manpower, but now it looks like you don't.
No, because of the motor.
Yeah, he spent 3 on the.
Yeah,
I don't know what
okay,
you
so
had at the beginning of this load, but yeah.
you're completely
3 on
right.
the motor.
Okay.
Okay.
It's up to
Um,
you guys if you want to hop down a channel so we're not
Yeah.
distracting you.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to take back that mortar because I thought for sure he was going to unlock his Sturmpanzer. Again,
No, that's okay.
the players are a little bit distracted with the drop, but we're back, so it's really tough to say. So coming back in, let's just update the score, folks, and we're gonna see here. It does look like, even though
7 for Dugo and 11 for Apple.
yeah, so Apple, see, again, he's losing units, just this aggression, but it's just paying off, getting all these capture points, keeping the Wehrmacht player on his
Looks
toes.
like Dugo unlocked the upgrade for his 251.
Yeah.
He's fumbling a bit with the dice, so. And he goes for the AP. So double AP. I think it's a good choice because of the T-34 that came out. So we'll see how that plans out for him.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad choice. We'll see how that works out. Just because of that T-34 and he's got the 3 range, and the T-34 only does 2 AP damage. So we'll see how that all plays out in this next round. But not really a surprise there. There isn't really any other infantry yet. I mean, there are some in the bunker, so the flame would be nice against those. The AP obviously nice against these T-34s that are getting put on the board every round. So we'll see how this all plays out.
Yeah. But coming back to where I was, what I was talking about the poll on BGG. So there are now, I can see there are 75 posts, so 74 votes, I think. And I only see 2 for the bunker.
Yeah, folks, I don't blame any of you. Those factories just look really cool, and they just give you that alternate model, and just really help us as publisher and designer here, just able to get a few more buildings for those that don't necessarily want to get 2 TP1s. So I don't really blame you whatsoever. It was kind of what I really wanted, to be honest, but it's really cool.
Hello.
Yep.
Hello.
Okay, so sorry about the delay, William.
It's okay.
Yeah, we had quite. I knew the aggression in the center was gonna get big and heated.
Yeah. we were like, that many red dice for you. Those defense dice. That was brutal for you.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it has me pushed back quite a bit, but luckily I have the VP lead where I'm not necessarily. I have time to catch back up to get to the center.
Hmm.
Yep. I think I kind of have a good central point over the center now since uh he's more got some centrally located stuff on the left and right.
I
And then the
think
T-34 with
Dugo
heroic
should
sacrifice.
still have a Kubel out because of the free spawn. I will.
Oh yeah, free spawn Kubo. I believe he chose there.
Yeah, folks, just letting him know.
Yeah.
He's got it. Yeah, that's just nice to point out. Just again,
Hmm.
that stoppage of play just kind of, I think, disrupted the players a little bit. Obviously,
Yeah. Yeah, I felt that there was something missing over here on this side of the map.
yeah.
With
Yeah.
the yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So what are your
But
plans? Obviously, you have a lot of units to move. Are you gonna be the operations deck, or is it
that was
Dugo's
me
turn?
last turn.
Okay.
So he ran out of time, which gave me that extra turn to take the bunk or take the building and then kill his unit on the manpower fuel.
Yeah.
Pretty much my plan is to send this heroic sacrifice T-34 to kill his spawn forward and try and prevent him from also trying to take my manpower fuel. But also it has the chance of killing either the Mordor team or the MG team, depending on
Hmm.
how far away he runs. But mostly, yeah, move up the other T-34, move that T-34 over to hold that right side, try and get his Panzer Grenadier out of the center, and maybe capture another VP point if I can. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I can steal another one from him while stopping his camo infantry from taking anything.
Yeah, he's got a lot of cool choices with that camo infantry. So that pretty much, I think, covers it from your spot. I guess I imagine you're hoping he plays as high as possible with the operations deck. But even if he doesn't, you do have a lot of speed dice, which are gonna for sure come in handy. So how are you enjoying that commander before you go? Just highlighting this conscript support tactics again in the core box of the Soviets. What do you think of this one so far?
I think it's one of my favorite commandos. I love conscript play. Hit the dirt. It's gonna be a bit hard with this giant bunker in the center, but it
Hmm.
can be pretty good in most situations. It's kind of like sandbags, but they work when they're sorted.
Right.
Kind of hurts against MG teams, but the free conscript at 5 health is always useful. That helps make up for my poor rules in the beginning,
Yeah.
and is paying off again now with the second conscript coming up the wheel.
So you did, I think, have a little bit more XP, and it was interesting to see you go with heroic sacrifice. I was kind of hoping to see rapid conscription, but that is not yet to be. But yeah, that heroic sacrifice is going to be nice. Did you choose that after seeing the AP dice from that 251? I imagine that's why you chose that, or are
Yes,
you just kind of also
yes,
afraid of
that is
that
the
Panzer
reason
Gren?
why I saw that his his super Jeep there is also anti-tank, anti-infantry, spawns infantry. That thing does a lot. So there's a chance that I've been ruling very poorly this game. So I'm now spending my XP accordingly. So
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, yeah, that's kind of, I know it's funny, it's just a comeback mechanism, but it just really encourages aggression, wouldn't you say, with the getting an XP for each unit lost?
yeah, yeah. In fact, that was the reason why I didn't retreat on the very first round when I had the unit on the VP munitions, as I had plans for that extra XP.
Hmm.
So it's not the end of the road when you lose a unit, unlike First Edition and other games. But I hope I'm showing that even if you lose units, you still are not out of the game. As long as you're hoarding at least 3 VPs, that's all you need. And I've held my opponent off. Sure, he's gotten XP or VPs from killing my units,
Hmm.
but as the game starts to stall, I'm gonna start taking farther and farther leads. I think, unless he just blows me out of the water this turn, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
if that MG comes into play. A lot of interesting units, but we'll see how they all come into play here. You have a lot of units near spawn. He's kind of got the advantage in the center, but I think overall you're up in units, right? Looks like you got 5 infantry
Yeah.
and 2 tanks, and he just basically he was in a tough spot where I think he wanted the Brumbar, but kind of also needed a unit to capture this manpower, so I think either way he had to kind of pick his poison over there, and each had their own advantage. I kind of would have liked to see the Brumbar, but that 251 can't capture, so he needed something to capture. So it's kind of a tough choice, but best of luck for you into the next round.
Thank you.
So Dugo will be joining us here shortly again. As you see on the screen, Dugo, the Wehrmacht player in blue, playing from his perspective, basically that third-person overview. Dugo, yeah, I just want to touch on first because I was just telling the viewers about getting that mortar where you kind of had a tough choice anyway, where you kind of want to capture. It would have been nice getting that Sturmpanzer out. I mean, is that kind of what was going through your head, that you really need to capture this round? You need kind of some troops up there in the front line?
Yeah, I need to capture, plus the mortar would be useful for
Mhm.
those infantry inside the bunker, so I rather go with the capture. Because I'm starving on manpower.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, coming into this round, you see a lot of units on the spawn for your opponent. You have a fair number of your units already in the center. Any plans in regards to the operations deck this round?
We probably go low. Uh,
Yeah.
because I don't want him to go, well, to use the unit at his spawn.
hmm
And yes, I will try to get back into the bunker, but it's gonna be tough. Uh, Mainly because of the flame dice
So,
that conscript has.
for sure, those speed dice are just very nice for those conscripts. Now, down for victory points, how confident are you as we enter kind of the mid to late game now?
It's gonna be difficult. Clearly, it's gonna be very, very difficult to get back from this position, but we'll see.
Any plans with those grenadiers with camouflage? Are you just gonna try to bait them out and wait, or are you just gonna try to jump on something? What are your plans there?
Yeah, I will try to cap either the point with in the building,
hmm
or maybe the one with the munition that I didn't cap this turn with the Kubelwagen. Not
Yeah,
sure yet.
yeah. I think you have some cool choices there. Well, best of
Mhm.
luck to you going into the next round, as
Thanks.
folks 7-11, a little bit of the underdog do go. We'll see how that plays out, but as we go back into the next maneuver phase, yeah, you can kind of see, folks, this is why no one wants to play against Apple. I mean, I hate to say it, but he just wins. I mean, you just see again, Soviet is probably one of his favorite factions to play. If you want to learn how to play Soviets, study his game. Learn how these conscripts play. Just if you want to spend a few hours tonight before bed, learn how to play the Soviets and enter the tournament tomorrow, and just see how much never-ending aggression you could do with these Soviets. They have a unique playstyle, folks. They just have these cool units that can just do things that other units can't with their core kit. So we'll see what's going to happen in those T-34s. They're a really nice unit now. We'll see how they kind of enter play now in this longer map. And then just these conscripts, we're seeing this commander out in full force again. A lot of times, it's just picking a commander you're good with. You know, that's kind of what was my feedback earlier to a new player on TTS as he was learning the game. I was telling him, just pick a commander you're good with. It's not always about picking the absolute best commander, because if it's not a commander that you're good with, you're not going to know how to take advantage of it. So just this one being
Yeah.
one of Apple's favorites, you can see how he's just so familiar and comfortable with this commander, really taking advantage of these conscripts and just throwing them. It looks like he's throwing them away, but just getting so much value, even losing that one in the building, even losing that one, for round one, right? Or round two, sorry, in the center of the board near the bunker. So, folks, you can just see how much value you can get out of these conscripts and just this conscript support tactic. So it's just a really cool and really fun commander. And then late game, we still don't see him yet, but those T-34 85s, we'll see if they come into play. But just so much XP spent on the flame upgrades. So you kind of see, right? Even with these insane amounts of XP, you can't do it all. You're losing units. You got to get flame upgrades. You want to finish your commander. We saw from one player that had the XP to finish his
Oh.
commander, but chose not to because he needed a mortar to capture a point. And all these tough choices where now you can see with the XP system, we do see. I don't know about that. I think this is going to come
Hugo
back.
moving in a building.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think this is kind of a mistake. And why I say that is because, yeah,
That.
that is one, right? And he didn't support that. Wow, just interesting that Dugo moved the MG up on that side instead of defending that spot with the MG. I think moving here would have been nice to basically. I'm going to just change colors here to purple. So he could have covered that spot with his MG, folks. Sorry about the screen, just how it works when you change colors. But would have been nice, I think, with that MG to cover that, prevent that capture. So
Yeah.
we'll see how this all plays out here as it goes on.
So we're going into round 3 now.
Yeah, so it looks like he did go that 2 to 4, which is the lower number, but he kind of mentioned that, and it makes sense, right? He does. It would have been nice to probably get that Kubelwagen a little bit further, but there's a lot of tough choices, and we do see the Soviet player just get that adjacency to spot into the building. He does have a lot of flame. Again, he's just really using his XP on these souped up flame upgrade conscripts that when you're going against that, folks, you really gotta use MGs. I mean, the MGs are just the great counter, and it's just hard to see that he only has one MG. He does get into the building, right? But I think he looks like he spent 3, but doesn't have it set up. I'm just kind of curious what is going on with Jugo, but he did set up that mortar team on that capture point, which is going to be nice. But what's spotting? We'll see how this all turns out. He does move over the Panzer Grenadiers. The Panzer Grenadiers don't have that great of damage against infantry, and he does get the sandbags set up again. So, folks, again, you get the advantage of staying in the bunker, but it's very tough. What would you say are the general things to look for when deciding to go high or low in the operations deck? Alex, that is just a fantastic question. So, the big thing, like the most obvious one, right, is you're going to have a tendency to see when you're up on victory capture points and you have units on the board, the easy one is to go low, right? You have your units in position, you have the victory capture points, that's kind of the easiest one to learn. But outside of that, there's a lot of nuance. You see a player who's behind 4 victory points who has a Kubelwagen back at the spawn point, right? It would have been great to get that guy up. So like when you're behind, you have a tough choice, right? Because he wanted to go low because he had better positioning, right? So better positioning is a reason to go low. Lower units is a better reason to go low in the operations deck. But when you have a unit in spawn that you really need to get up there, it kind of raises these tough questions where he's behind in victory points, but his units are in position. So you get a lot of nuance there, and a lot of times you can kind of use your number to surprise your opponent if you use the right way, because going first, you know what the number is, so you can kind of time it. It does look like those Grenadiers were obviously caught red-handed diving into the building. Is it guaranteed kill? It does not look like it's quite guaranteed. So it's going to be, folks.
2 flames.
It is going to be 2 flames. There is 3 AI. So that's going to be 5 damage with 3 defense dice.
Plus 2
But 2
armor
AP.
piercings.
So
He can
basically,
roll.
2 APs are going to be the saves, and he's going to need basically 1 ready's dead is what we're looking at, folks. So basically, 3 defense dice from the bunker, 2 from the AP dice, so 5 defense dice, and from 7 damage. Right? 1 ready's dead? Or is it 2 ready's dead? Can I do math on stream? That's probably not the best thing to do. Is it 2 ready's
Well,
dead?
he's rolling now.
We'll figure it out.
Ooh,
4 saves. So it is. It was
saves.
2 reds. He was dead. So,
Yeah.
man, doing math on stream, I'm normally pretty good at it, folks, but it was 2 reds. He was dead. So that actually works out very well for him because he's alive. He
3
gets.
reds.
He would have got the neutralize
Oh,
anyway.
he loses 1. No, what? He just he loses 1. Yeah.
So it works out. It's actually very kind of neutral in both players' favor because now it's going to be a 3-3 game in VP. So it's very nice to see this game get evened out. where both players are going to have advantage to recapturing their close victory point. But you can kind of see where diving ahead can pay off for you. And the camouflage forced a heavy reaction from the Soviet player around the building, and it wasn't quite enough damage to get the kill.
Yeah.
So
GMG team.
yeah, again, that MG team, I think that was the biggest mistake on Dugo this round. It would have been just a no-brainer to set up and prevent this conscript from capturing. So it's interesting to see him go into the bunker. He is, I think,
Looks
rolling
like they're
damage from.
discussing.
I think the conscript is attacking the
Yeah.
MG. He doesn't get the AP, so no AP die because it's within the bunker. So within bunker, no AP from within bunker. So again, folks, those with second edition, that AP bunker die is when you're attacking outside the bunker. Again, the AT gun's kind of aimed outside the bunker. That's kind of thematically what's going on. So basically, no AP within. I'll just go ahead and delete that die for them, as I told them in chat. So just one thing to note: it is very fun though with that AP die in the bunker. Would you say, Rudy?
Yeah. It's a nice little addition to the bunker to get the AP dice to shoot that.
Yeah.
Thematically as well, Germans used to have like those big anti-tank guns inside bigger bunkers. So
Yeah, for sure. It's really cool
Yeah.
to see. So we because of the low commands, we didn't see really any aggression on Dugo's left side of the map here. That 251 did go a little bit forward. We do see that mortar team set up. I'm not sure what the mortar team focused. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was actually no targets for that mortar team. So
Nope.
he went that mortar team,
Okay.
but we'll see if that pays off in the end, right? So it did get the capture. It does get him that manpower. So we are very likely to see that Stern Panzer if he's got enough XP. But he doesn't have enough XP. Rudy.
Yeah.
He doesn't get this elite Stern Panzer.
Not.
1 XP
Wait,
short.
did he spend his experience last turn then on something
Clearly,
else?
I see. So that's, folks. So it's one thing to note.
Oh, probably on the flame upgrade for his
Yeah.
mortar.
See, you kind of see these things.
Oh,
So 5.
that's
So
sad.
it's normally safe. One thing to know as you're learning the game, it's fairly reliable mid-game. 3 XP, very reliable. 4, you have to kind of play aggressive. 5, like you have to have a game plan when you need 5 XP, because this might cost him the game in the end, because now he's 2 rounds behind getting that elite Sturm Panzer. He could have got it last round. He's not getting it this round now, at least unless he pays for it, folks. We can see his supplies. It does look like he has a lot of fuel. He could basically pay the 2 to unlock tier 3. He's got 3 manpower, and it ultimately costs 2, so he's going to be able to afford one if he wants. So it might be the play, because then the slow will get removed with his commander, so they no longer have slow, because even if you have one on the board, it'll get removed. Travis, thanks for the kind words there. And yeah, Alex, faction overviews are great. Thanks. So there's the short format. In case you guys missed it, I did yesterday. I kind of did that design overview, kind of gave you guys a lot of in-depth behind the scenes as to what went on with the design. It was great to have, just going in the depths with Taylor joining and basically Apple here giving a lot of that insight to what role he played. It was nice to have him along for that. And then we did all 5 factions, 5 minutes or slightly more overviews for those people that wanted those short overviews. We do have the longer ones. There are 3 done over on Slava's channel. I'm not sure if he was able to merge them yet, but those are on Slava's channel. Basically, Mortal Compass. If you search that on YouTube, you'll be able to find those. If you really want to get all the details about a faction,
Great guy.
Yeah, he's just a great guy to have. But to be fair, I mean, he's got a family as well, and don't blame him. Obviously, I'm just really appreciative of each and every one. Rudy here, thank you, Rudy. I don't think I say it enough.
No problem.
And thank of each and every one who's able to help out, because we just have a wonderful community here. A lot of these guys just spent so much time helping out, and really, it's just so we're just so appreciative to have them all this time. Because, it was just a collaborative effort. Just all the backers, all the feedback, all these play testers.
And I think I can say for the whole community, thank you to you as well for the hosting, all the commentaries, all the videos you're making, and especially coming up with the 2.0 version of this game.
Well, thanks, Rudy.
So
Always a nice guy.
Yep.
Was it tough letting Taylor take the mic for the 5 minutes? No, it wasn't. I really wanted to just show, and hopefully it does show it, that just getting the different perspectives, right? I might be the designer, but a lot of these people have very insightful feedback, so much analysis. Again, arguably a better player than me, right? Even though I know as a designer it's tough, you don't want to lose, right? There's a lot of pressure on me. That's why I almost don't want to play him, right? Because I feel like I'm expected to win, but I know he's a better player. And I basically in time mode, I don't think I stand a chance. He's just such a great player. But when it comes to untimed, I kind of take a little bit long. I'll admit I have to get analysis paralysis because a lot of his aggression, under the clock, you have to make some split-second decisions for sure. But again, playing Wehrmacht against Soviets, you're probably going to want a little bit more MGs, and we'll see if that comes back to haunt Dugo here. But thanks, Travis. Yeah, I mean, it was just wonderful to have all these people along. And I just wanted to show again just how much we are grateful, and it's just nice to have them here. But moving on, sorry, I got to update the supply phase. It's a lot to cast, I'm trying to keep it up to date. But going into the supply phase now, that damage phase was very interesting. And what do we see coming out? It does look like Dugo unlocked his tier 3, and he went with a Panzer IV. This Panzer IV, it's a very nice option here. It doesn't, it's very inexpensive, kind of saves on the fuel, very versatile. Interesting choice that he sent it middle because he's going to have to end up with it here or basically here or here. It does have 3 range. It does have 1 AI out of the gate. He can get that second AI, folks, for 2 munitions if he has it. It does look like he has it. I don't know if he's going to go for it. I imagine he's going to go for it, but we'll see what happens. On the flip side, we do see rapid conscription from the Soviet player. Just Apple making just going towards his commander. He is a little bit short. He's not going to get the T-3485s. It's so funny because a lot of people say this is the strongest unit in the game, and you see arguably the best player not getting the strongest unit in the game, and you're probably scratching your head, but just going the base T-34s. And they're going to see action. So again, these larger maps, getting the units out early, we'll see how that comes into play this next round, because I think we're going to see the Soviet player just really charging middle, and as we get into the end game, I think he's just going to have an unstoppable force, because we saw this 251, right? We saw this, but do you get the Panzer IV? I don't know. Maybe, yeah, AI stand for Nick. Great question. I hear him say it a bunch. Yeah, so Nick, that is anti-infantry damage, AI for short. So that's the damage that's deterministic when you attack an AI, basically infantry. So when you use that, I'm just going to show you this chart. It's that basically that column on the left there, the one that looks like an infantry, just going down that column, you can see against green hearts, which are infantry, it's deterministic. There's no defense dice rolled. Light vehicles, they get a defense die. Heavy vehicles are immune. That's that cancel out symbol. And then emplacements get a defense die. And then buildings don't take damage from it either. So it's just kind of nice as you're learning the game and getting familiar with it. You're going to really want to memorize this defense matrix as soon as possible. But also it's on the back of your tier 3 building. So it's just a nice, great learner aid tool that's always available to you on the back of everyone's tier 3 building. So again, that's if you see that shield, that just means they get a defense die, which is a 66% chance. Basically, 4 of the 6 sides are a save. The dash means they get nothing, so just true damage, and the cancel means they're immune.
Hey.
Welcome, Dugo. How's it going?
Yeah, tough. Pretty tough.
Well, you wanted the challenge, so here's the challenge.
Yeah, interesting game. I mean, really interesting. A lot of conscript. And yeah, pretty hard to manage.
Yeah, pretty hard to manage. It was nice that you kind of called out your grenadier charging in the building. He focused it and you lived. I'm pretty sure you're excited to see that.
Yeah, I got lucky here.
So
Once again, I got lucky inside that building.
yeah, one thing I would have liked to see, not to pick on your game, but literally every decision matters. And I think it would have been nice to see your MG preventing that conscript from capturing that point, and then you would have been, I think, in a great spot this round because it would have been only 10-7 with you having 3 and him only having 2. So I think that would
Yeah,
have
I
been
agree.
nice to see. But any plans with that MG in the bunker who's barely alive?
Honestly, no plan for the MG.
Mhm.
I will try at the end of the round to reinforce the MG and the Grenadier thanks to the airtrack, but I'm not sure how to do this. We'll see.
It's very
We'll
tough.
see.
Yeah, I'll get a little bit more
Yeah.
into that 251 during commentary because that's something I want to point out again. But seeing that, again, not to pick out another flaw here from the champ, the EU champ, but arguably getting that flame upgrade. The mortar team was an interesting choice for sure, but then getting the XP, the 2 XP flame upgrade, folks, that, again, I was just trying to point out to the folks at home that 2 flame XP upgrade kind of was the determining factor. You didn't get the free Elite Sturm Panzer upgrade on your commander because you were 1 XP short. I imagine you were very saddened to see that you didn't get 5. Did you find that the 5 was challenging? Was it something you overlooked? Is it just a layer of depth that's just hard to achieve? Is there really any thoughts on that going into that round?
Yeah,
Did you have a mindset of I have to get 5 XP? Did it slip your mind? Did you just caught up in the timer? What were your thoughts on that?
yeah, pretty much all of this. Um, I didn't calculate that the mortar will not fire this turn. That's it. Small mistake.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a bit unfortunate that he moved that unit just up inside the bunker, so you couldn't target anything with your
Yeah.
teams.
But
Fortunately.
at least he captured the flag.
Yeah, that's something.
That's a consolation prize, right?
Positive thinking.
You got to focus on the positives. Now, any
Yeah.
plans going into the last round? You did go with the Panzer IV. I found that interesting because I feel like this round, it's kind of, I don't want to say do or die, but every round matters here as the clock is ticking each round with each player getting victory points. Is there any reason why you chose that over perhaps another unit?
Not really, because well, maybe I shouldn't go tier 3 and buy another infantry next to the airtrack.
Yeah,
That would be probably better, but
yeah, again,
I
tough
really
choices,
go to tier 3. So.
Yeah, that's kind of one thing I want to touch on, folks. Again, in the commentary, this 251, if you go these commanders, you really get rewarded for leaning into it. I would have liked to see basically a Panzer Grenadier spawning adjacent to this 251 would have been very nice, especially on this long map. But not to pick on Dugo the champ so much, his back is against the wall, and I really want to wish him the best of luck because Apple is always a big challenge. Let's see if he could pull off the upset. Let's all get some Go Dugos in the chat. Give him the support and love. This EU champion, I guess. Folks, again, sign up for the US tournament tomorrow. 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Win an all-in backer bundle. That all-in pledge backer bundle. There you go. I probably butchered that 5 times if I said it 5 times. But Dugo winning it from the EU tournament. Congrats again, Dugo. But even if even this is a consolation loss, you get that consolation prize for winning that, and thanks for participating in the show match, and just great to have you here, and good luck into the end game here.
Yeah, thank you.
So, folks, he's just such a nice guy and just a wonderful guy in the community again. He is, just joined, I think it was like a week ago. It was just a backer, learned the game, and he's playing fantastic. But now we have Apple, who just makes everyone look like a scrub. I mean, this guy is brutal to play against. Nobody wants to play against, so I feel bad having people play against this guy. This guy's just the monster. Apple, man, you just dissect everyone like a frog in science class. What is going on here? Are you happy with how it's going?
Yeah, I do think I'm gonna easily retake. I'm gonna focus both building VPs this round. I can take his Grenadier out. I don't know where his Grenadier is gonna go, and then with this 1 health conscript, I'm gonna sacrifice him to neutralize, to force him to purchase another infantry or to move that Panzer Grenadier out of the building to retake that VP. So I may trade a VP, but at least I'm going to neutralize a point.
Mm-hmm.
So that will force him to react differently. His MG team is an easy target for the conscript in the bunker, and I really just need to. I think his main play this round is going to be my manpower fuel, which is what the T-34 and the conscript being built is up for.
Mm-hmm.
His Grenadier might try and neutralize my other manpower fuel, but it's going to just get sacrificed, and I'll just probably assault if he goes for it.
Yeah, folks, just to point out, when you assault a unit that's on your point, it doesn't neutralize before the damage. Basically, that second step of the damage, if there's no active assault or pin, your point will be neutralized by a unit that can capture, but an assault prevents that until after the damage step. So if you eliminate that unit, you don't get neutralized or captured. So very great feedback from Apple. Again, this guy is just a wealth of knowledge. So again, thank you for playing this game and just showing the strength of the Soviets. Those who want to play the Soviets again, just to point out again, this guy just plays them so crisp and clean. I don't know, like anyone thinks the Soviets are weak. I don't think you're watching enough of Apple. Just study this game. You can learn how to use Soviets. Just so much aggression. So thanks, and then thanks for
I feel like I
doing.
didn't even use half of Soviets' kits. It's mostly because of this bunker being
Mhm.
so weak for Soviets to get like a sniper in
Mm-hmm.
and stuff that I mostly played a conscript game. Because you get those conscripts and flame upgrades, then you can actually contest things like these bunkers, cathedrals. And so, like, don't play my exact style on every single map, but if you got this central building location, conscripts are your main source of taking buildings. So, yeah.
Just never-ending valuable feedback again. Thanks. I just wanted to thank, because I did point it out, but thanks again for doing those videos with me. Just an awesome perspective and just a great guy to have in the community. Thanks, Apple, and good luck into the next round.
Thank you.
So that was interviews, folks, and as we're entering the next maneuver phase, I do think Dugo does have an uphill battle. It's not quite over, but again, it's just mistake after mistake. It's hard to realize when you're learning the game. Dugo, again, he's getting great experience. I'd say he's played about 10 or so games now, from my knowledge, from what I've seen in the Discord. Just so much activity, but Apple just just flexing his expertise here and his mastery of this game and his mastery of Soviets. It is tough to see as he opens up using his speed dice over here. Rudy, what do you think is Dugo's best chance with that, basically overall, but especially with that Grenadier? What would you do with it?
Yeah, it's a tough choice because he's just at 1 health. He does have camo, but he doesn't have much room to go to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I am thinking the Grenadier isn't going to survive this round because Apple has so much presence on that side. So yeah, either way, where the Grenadier goes, he can catch up maybe a little bit to get it just into range of viewing and shooting. And if one AI is already like killing, or in this case maybe a flame from the conscripts in the building, then he's already dead. So
Yeah, as Rudy
I
points out there, that flame, sorry to interrupt, Rudy, that flame,
yeah.
again, folks, it ignores cover, it ignores building defense. It's going to go through, it's going to hurt that Grenadier no matter what. So it's interesting because just sitting on the point might be the best option here, because does he assault into the building? It is an interesting choice, because if that unit assaults in, do you move up the Panzer Grenadiers? He did choose to move the Panzer Grenadiers back, but this is, again, folks, this is where you'd like to see other units pushed forward, where, again, those previous rounds, picking those lower command points can come back to haunt you, because his units need to be forward as well, and those conscripts getting that speed die,
Mhm.
they add up.
Yeah. I quick question about 251.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have spawned Panzer Grenadiers, can he, with the new rules, spawn inside it?
That is,
Or
well, I mean, it does specify spawn adjacent, so
okay.
we'll
Oh yeah,
probably just stick
adjacent.
with that. But that is a good question, right? I mean, it is a good question. It does specify currently on the card spawn adjacent. They'll probably just stay that way. The bigger thing was spawning in the spawn line with transports. I don't think that rule needs to change. I think even adjacent is strong enough. It's something that could come into play, but I think the bigger thing is spawning on the spawn line, especially on these longer maps, just helping transports out even more. And wow, we do see a 2. Who went first that round? Was that Apple or is that Dugo
Apple?
again?
Yeah. Apple went first.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's not really too surprising. Although it is from Apple because Apple has so many units, but I think he's just playing off his victory point lead. Waves of Soviet conscripts. It must be late 1941, early 42. Fodder for the motherland. Yeah, I mean this is Hill 331, folks. This is conscripts. This is Hill 331. This is just carnage, right? Just so many conscripts dying. But he did get to move up that Panzer IV. I think all things considered, I do like Dugo's kind of edging back into it, into a 21-point game. Again, those folks that are new to second edition, another comeback mechanism. Not only is there XP for each unit you lose, you get 1 XP. The bigger one is at the end of the game, whoever controls more victory capture points gets 3 bonus victory points. And that could, we're looking 4 apart, but it can really add up going into late game. What's going on, Rudy?
I don't know if you noticed, his MG team spots the T-34.
Yep.
So he can shoot it with his half track.
That is a nice little combination on that side.
Yeah.
So we'll see if the frontal arc of the T-34 is able to reflect some of that, but arguably...
And he can also use the mortar. I don't know if it does anything.
The HE 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The flame it's immune to, but you can still target with the HE damage. I don't know if he notices that.
He gets the defense die for it, but still, if it's a crit, it's a guaranteed
I don't know if he notices. I kind of almost... I almost want to point it out to him because it is a show match and not a tournament, and Dugo might be feeling his back against the wall here. I don't know if I don't know. I feel bad. Maybe he's realizing it, but I think hopefully they're counting it out as they can see our overlays. This isn't a tournament game. I want to help. Everyone's cheering for Dugo. Again, let's get another round for Dugo, folks. We need to see a comeback. This guy, such a great guy in the community, coming in, winning that tournament.
on the tank.
Yeah, I mean,
nice.
So the problem here that I'm concerned with is this conscript sacrifice at least neutralizes that point. It isn't a guarantee. I mean, the odds are to get the kill, right? We see 3 AI damage. That's 3 building defense, and then 4 AT.
And also nice with the Panzer Grenadiers because Apple built the sandbags. They didn't get destroyed, so now the Panzer Grenadiers taking benefit of those sandbags.
That is interesting to see. He does roll
lots of reds.
It was basically 1 red and he was dead. But that is something, right? Something to note. What was that conscript going to do? It gets a neutralized. So now, again, Dugo has to figure out what unit he's going to send in to capture that point. So he's forced on the defense. He's going to have to get some infantry up there. Maybe he spawns an infantry, hops it in the Kugelwagen, and then kind of uses the Kugelwagen to go one forward. That's kind of my play, my recommendation. We are on the damage phase. I'll update that. But that's something where... Does Dugo realize? I don't want to point that out to him, but, it is an epic game, Steven. Thanks for the... I mean, that's just pointing it out, game. Pointing out this game. Just such an epic game. So much damage, so many.
The AT roll, let's see.
Oh, he misses! Oh no! But there's still 2.
He isn't lucky with
Let's
his
see
AT
the frontal
rolls.
arc. Okay. A consolation prize. Now that T-3485 can be taken out, but now he pointed out the repair. So folks, the new rule that we're testing out, you can repair outside basically from inside a building to adjacent, a rule we're testing out. Because again, otherwise he'd get punished, So it's a lot of these things. Is it worth being a rule to remember and all these exceptions with the buildings? So 2.04, we're seeing that in action here. We're repairing from inside the building to an adjacent vehicle outside the building. where normally you'd have to be outside the building. So nice to see where you can kind of see a little bit more combined arms. You know, all the rules we're trying to simplify as we get into the final rule set. So just very nice, folks, to kind of see them using all these little advantages here and there with these new rules, just seeing them in action. So, yeah, I mean, overall, the neutralize, I think, is going to hurt Dugo, but he does have 2 victory points. On the flip side, there was an assault. I didn't know for sure if there was an assault there, but Apple not really making a mistake there.
Yeah.
Apple just playing crisp and clean, getting the assault on that building, killing that grenadier. So Apple's back at 3, and this is going to put him up in the sweet spot of 17 victory points to 13. So let's update the scores as they enter the supply phase, folks. This is still that 4-point game. I think there was just enough kills where we'll see how it turns out. But so 17 for Apple.
Ooh,
And
Apple gets an SU 76 out.
so what did we say? 13 for Dugo, Rudy?
Dugo is at 13.
Yep, 17 to 13. So there we go, folks. The score has been updated at the top of the screen. So it is still a tight game. You know, Dugo needs to make plays. Let's see, what does he do? I mean, he obviously probably won't.
Oh, he gets his Brummbare out. Or the Sturmpanzer.
He does get the Sturmpanzer out, folks, which is nice to
Yeah.
see, but is it too little too late? It can get the
I
range
think it's
upgrade.
a little bit too late.
Yeah, so as we pointed out, if he played a little bit more optimally with the XP, with the manpower, not getting that, basically that mortar team 2 rounds ago on that spot spawning next to the 251, he could have got it out sooner. It could have been blasting things away. It could have been in the middle of the board, especially removing slow. It could have been, what's he, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It could have been up near the bunker, you know? So we could have seen this game play out massively different with a boom bar, as I like to call it. Just a bunker busting monster. Would have been nice to have in the front lines here next to all these infantry that are low health and just threaten so many units. It would have been able to attack perhaps this T-34, but again, different game. Didn't play out that way. We'll see what Dugo's able to do. I imagine the players are going to be joining us shortly to chat. And what do you think's
Oh,
going
that
to
was a
happen?
great retreat on that Grenadier. That's pretty cool. He was able to get to the SDKFZ. I mean, to that half track. Otherwise, he'd just be stuck for another round, probably out for the rest of the game. But he'll be coming back into it.
Oh,
really useful.
We actually missed that commentating. Great from Chris watching to point that out. We thought that guy was dead, but folks, retreating to that 251. Great, Chris joining in to point that out. The 251 is a retreat point. Retreating 6 with the second edition being able to retreat 6. That just coming into play. And now he's going to reinforce it. He's going to be able to get back up to 2 health. That retreat die is going to come off. So we'll see how this all comes into play. I actually don't think that's a speed die, though, on that Grenadier. I think that might be the HE die, I imagine.
I think so. Yeah, he had the HE on that, I thought.
So we'll see
Still
what
didn't
happens.
do the forward Panzer Grenadiers. I kind of thought that's probably more useful than the Sturmpanzer at this point.
Yeah, I know. We even pointed out to him. So again, players
Yeah.
just a lot of tough
gave him the hint.
choices. I gave him the hint to win. He needed to do it, but I don't even know if that would have been a difference on this side of the map. See, the problem, folks, is the VPs are 4 of them are on the other side of the map. So as you're learning these maps, all the resources are over here. This is a great side of the map as you're learning these maps and learning how to read maps and you get more familiar with the game. One thing I want to point out, it's arguably the most important skill to really elevate your game, to really get you to the top echelon of play, because this is very good early game. A lot of vital resources. Again, I would say if you watched that video yesterday, manpower is really number 2 right after victory points, and you have a lot of manpower. 4 manpowers on this side of the map, only 2 on the others, but the victory points are over here. So what is this push going to do? So as we kind of go into the end game here, we'll see what happens, but Apple's joining us. What are your thoughts, Apple, going into the end game here?
Well, I think he's going to go for trying to win with the +3 victory point, winning with the, as long as you hoard more points, you can get an additional +3. So I think what his goal is probably going to try and be is to neutralize my munitions VP probably both of them, and try and recapture either his VP in the building or something. But I think I have enough ability to assault and enough damage that whatever he puts on those points, I should be able to kill, while also being able to even threaten his. Because my Soviet in the bunker has the fun ability of actually being able to take his munition VP over on, and well, I don't know what direction you guys are looking at it from, but
From his perspective, so I guess you're talking about the one that's kind of in his back line across the battlefield. The one,
yeah,
this one as I'm showing on the board. Yeah, that does be able to threaten so many spots. So again, as you're learning so much from Apple, just a wealth of knowledge, he's able to threaten that. He's able to dive in the building again if he wants to. That building he dove in last round, just with that
yeah, I
that
can reach
speed
that.
die. So much opportunity and so much threat. Where again, I just want to point out, folks, this MG. I don't want to pick on Dugo here, but just that MG, just what value is it getting from it all game? It is a tough unit, especially in these larger
Yeah.
maps, to get into the right spot, but just as you kind of see non-stop aggression from Apple, if just an MG was set up, it could have prevented so much of this. But Apple, as you go into the end game, you didn't even get out arguably the best unit in the game, this T-3485. I'm sure the fans would have liked to see that with that turret. It's unfortunate, but even the T-34, folks, that is already seeing action. You did get outspotted, but taking advantage of that repair, what do you think of that? I mean, did that feel good being able to be in the building and repair outside?
It did. It makes it feel like I am actually benefiting from the building instead of the building actually just being a nuisance. Because if the building wasn't there, I could have repaired and built sandbags and just kind of held that spot, because it is just a nice central location, and vehicles have such trouble that they end up hugging buildings just to try and squeeze around corners, and especially this tightness between the red lines and the black. Yeah, so it did pay off. It did seem nice. I don't know if he liked it, but
Yeah, for
we'll
sure.
see.
It was nice to see that 251 retreating. I don't think that's a speed die. Imagine he bought an HE upgrade, I think.
Which one?
The one that's looks
Oh,
like it retreated out of the
oh, he
building.
stole my speed die on this. That was to mark that, because assault you're supposed to like mark which one you're doing.
Uh-huh.
So that was, yeah.
Okay.
We stole the speed die. Okay.
So I'll just basically do that now, remove the retreat so it's not missed, and give that one its health. But it is nice to see that 251 getting a little bit more value. We'll see with the Sturm. I'm just a little bit concerned. I don't think the Sturm Panzer or the Panzer IV is going to see too much more action this game. But I imagine you're
Yeah.
pretty confident going into the end game here. Any final thoughts on that?
It has power of stopping me from taking some of his back points, but if I don't charge them, they don't really get much value. So we'll see what happens.
All right, thanks
Because I
again,
am going
Apple.
second this round.
You are going second, so you are going to have a lot of analysis to make and some good decisions. But best of luck into which may very well be and very likely the final round. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Fighting.
So Dugo joining us. We'll see what his thoughts are as we are going into what may be the final round. Again, folks, the score is 17-13. Dugo.
Hey, Dugo.
Down, you're back against the ropes. The fans are cheering for you. What are your plans to make up the gap? I mean, it's a 4-point game, but again, if you get more victory capture points, do you have any plans in particular? Way to get ahead on the victory points? Interesting to see you push on your left side. What are your plans over there?
Honestly, I don't know. I have no idea what I can do.
That's unfortunate to hear, folks.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate to hear, but I mean, any thoughts in regards to? Nice to see you use that 251 retreating that Grenadier as a retreat point. I imagine you're pretty happy to keep that guy alive. He's got camouflage. Maybe you're going to be able to use that. But we'll see what happens there. But any other thoughts with the rest of the board as you get your Brumbar out and your Panzer IV? You're hoping that they'll see a little bit more action this round?
Yeah, maybe the idea would be to throw the Panzer Grenadier that has 2 HP. Maybe could try to cap the VP inside the building. and the Panzer IV try to defend the victory point. I don't know.
Makes
uh,
sense? No, I mean that it all makes sense. So I think that's it. Do you have anything, Rudy, to add before we go into what may be the final round?
Good luck.
Good
I'm
luck.
gonna
You'll
need it.
need
Yeah.
it. You need it to go. We're
You need
cheering
it.
for you. The fans at home are cheering for you. And we'll see what you can pull off. Hopefully, you can work some magic here. Maybe you got a
Yeah, we'll
surprise
see.
that we don't see. Use
Yeah.
your 251. Use it. Hop in and do something. Surprise them. Make some magic happen, Dugo. Good luck to you in the
Yeah.
what may be the final round. Best of luck to you.
Thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, folks. So there's a lot of things to point out with this 251 as the players are going into the next maneuver phase. With down 4 points again, if he just captures something, he has grenadiers that do have slow, but if you hop in the 251, the 251 can move 4 hexes, and then the grenadiers can hop out. So we'll see if he could do something. It's unfortunate that this barbed wire is here, so that one's really hard to contest. This other victory point in this building, again, I would have liked to see the 251 push on the right because those VPs are what you need. He really only has this 1 point that he could really eye right next to that T-34. So we'll see what can happen there.
We are going 3 to 5 by the looks of it.
Yep, 3 to 5. He's got a lot of units. This is going to be a bloodbath. The key thing, folks,
Yeah.
is if it's tied 3-3 victory point capture points, which is likely here. Wow, interesting
Ooh.
opening play. I'm not sure about this one. 2 health, camouflage. The unit's already spotting it from behind the hill. And we see an immediate response. I think it's assaulting it. Where was that?
Yeah, it's assaulting.
Yeah, it's assaulting backwards?
It's assaulting backwards,
it
full
just
reverse.
threw it in reverse, said gung ho, and tried to ram that grenadier right off that spot, folks. So we'll see what happens there, but not looking good for those grenadiers. But maybe there's a plan here. Maybe there is a plan. We'll see what happens. Still a lot of action to happen. I think Dugo's planning out where's his damage going to be. Does he get a T-34 kill? Does he just retreat? Again, infantry can retreat. Vehicles cannot. So those
I
grenadiers
think
can
it
always
might be a
retreat off of
good
that.
move for him to move the MG team towards the victory munition point, since he doesn't need it now for spotting.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going to happen again. Apple gave
Yeah.
us some great insight that the key of this round for Apple is what is he going to do with this conscript in the bunker? Is he going to go to the southwest or the southeast? A lot of opportunity for Apple. He's just in the driver's seat, folks, on a lot of ways in this board. He does use the speed die and charge the conscripts up into that building. That does allow them to threaten so many spots, so many vital spots, both of those victory points, munition spots. So this Panzer Grenadiers in a tough spot. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I think what we're likely to see. It's kind of interesting because this Panzer IV isn't facing to the upper right, and the Panzer IV basically its AI is in that cone. It's turretless, so he didn't point it to the right. So if those Panzer Grenadiers leave that hex, the Grenadier that conscript has another option of just hopping on where the Panzer Grenadiers are. So just so many options for those conscripts because they can go here, 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 just any of these 3 spots. So we'll see what happens. The Grenadiers with slow hop into the building, so they can only go 2 this round. That's going to be their final spot. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't really like that. Again, I would have liked to see hopping in the 251, at least trying something right. He's got to make a play here. And
It could be he's trying to get a kill on the T-34 with the AP from the bunker and the 251.
Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to do, but
That's 3 damage in his tank butt. So that's a guaranteed kill then.
it is, but all things considered, he needs a victory control point to really close the gap because there is that comeback mechanism, and I would have liked to see him at least attempt something. Again, I would have liked to see those Grenadiers hop in the 2-5-1, maybe go into this building over here. I think that would have been a great play, because could they get there? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's a little bit out of range, unfortunately, because of that slow. It's just tough. Again, I think it really comes down to being on the left side than the right, because there's just so many victory points on the right on this map. But it is what it is. I think Dugo played overall a great game, and I hopefully, again, if
Yeah.
you guys have any questions, feel free. Can a heavy vehicle assault in reverse use its forward guns on a unit in the hex? Yes. Actually, yes. So basically, your own hex is in your frontal arc. There's an example in the rulebook where the MG's own hex is. But one thing to note is the exception to that is your frontal armor. So frontal armor is the one exception to that. So if you go ramming tank into tank, you're breaking each other's frontal armor, so neither will trigger the frontal armor. It's just kind of that point blank shot. So that's why that's an exception there, just because, you know, obviously when you're point blank, their frontal armor is going to have a lot less impact there. But yeah, so it is an interesting rule, right? It's just very odd to see unit go in reverse like that.
Yeah.
But it is just by the rules. It is what it is. But also to note, the T-34 does have turreted AI, so it does have that nice turreted AI, which it could go 360. So we'll see. It looks like we are in the damage phase, which again, folks,
Yeah.
this is probably it.
Lots
But
of
we're going to
dice.
see lots of action, lots of units, all getting in the action. Not too much. A little bit unfortunate to see. I'm not sure what the round counter was, because they've already recalled
It
their dice. But
was 2?
we didn't see the Panzer Grenadiers hop in that building
Yeah.
to capture the VP, which I think was Dugo's biggest mistake. I would have liked to see that the Panzer IV focus this way, because it needed to again rotate to focus this hex, then move the Panzer Grenadiers, like Dugo said himself, to hop in this building to capture that victory point. So again, folks, as you're kind of getting familiar with the game and learning it, it's all about those victory capture points. Watch my video yesterday. Watch these games. Learn from the player who wins. You're going to see time and time again, it almost always is the one that focuses and does a better job on those victory capture points. Unit kills are nice and kind of can keep you treading water, if you will, but the way to win is the victory capture points. So just round in, round out, turn after turn, move after move. Apple was just controlling the victory capture points. A lot of red dice are rolled there, but he only loses 2 models, and the Panzer Grenadiers fall. So just a unit lost, but Dugo needed something bigger to happen this round. I do think for sure those Grenadiers didn't retreat.
34.
Interesting, he didn't
Those
retreat
get
those.
saves.
He could have retreated them
Not?
back.
Wait, what? Oh, the AI from the tank, of course.
Yeah, the AI from the
Yeah,
tank, as we were discussing in chat. It's irrelevant at this point because the game is over. But he could have left. There was no real reason to say he could have retreated.
That's 1 damage. Yeah.
So those
Oh,
Grenadiers live in the bunker. It just was a lot of, I would say the key highlights are the MGs. Wehrmacht really needs to have good MG play in this matchup, especially against conscripts, especially with this commander
Yeah.
having so much health. You really need to focus on your MGs, folks. This 251, I did mention it earlier. I want to highlight it now. When you get these commanders, the 251 goes down, but the 251 is really those commanders, you're giving up a lot on the commanders. Like I said earlier, you really got to
Oh, and he
focus on your
misses
commanders.
again with his mortar.
Yeah, the mortar just
Unfortunate.
not getting any value really other than capturing that spot. And again, that caused the Sturm Panzer to not be out in the middle of the board. And again, things cascading. But it really does come down to that 251. You can get so much potential out of it for Wehrmacht, who doesn't get that anywhere else out of their kit. That spawn forward,
this is
the
game.
transport. But that is game, folks. We do see the final score. It does look like it is 24, I believe, and then bonus 3. I think that's what he's trying to show with those cubes. To, it looks like 16. But I imagine Apple's joining us and can confirm the final score. Is it 24 or 27?
So it's 24, but it's the
27 with the bonus.
yeah, 27 with the bonus because he only has 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we do have Apple and Dugo joining us. Guys, thanks for the great show match. I mean, any thoughts for those viewers at home? Basically, final thoughts and what your thoughts on the game. Let's start there. Any thoughts? Maybe we'll start with Dugo. What are your thoughts on the game?
On this particular game?
Yeah, this
Interesting,
game,
yeah.
not the game
Yeah.
itself. Yeah, this map, this game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, really interesting. Because I thought that it will be focused on the bunker, but we saw some nice play on the flank, on both flank actually.
Mhm.
So yeah, interesting game. I really liked it, and I'm eager to play again with you, Apple.
Yeah, there were some issues that happened mid-game that I had to step away from, but
Yeah, that's okay.
yeah, we'll try and make it faster. I normally play fast, but
Okay.
I think you saw with the timer, I do usually play fast.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I have issue with the timer when we use the 5, well, all 15 cubes.
Yeah.
I usually don't have enough time to spend them.
So one thing I do want to touch on that topic, folks. We are going to have that in the rulebook. It is kind of a new blitz mode. We have RTS mode where players can play simultaneous. That's a lot of fun. It is a lot of tension because you kind of want to watch out your opponent's moves. We do have this new blitz mode, if you will. It's kind of a chess clock timer. We're gonna have the sand timers in the box. They're gonna be basically hexagon shaped, I believe Chris said, where you're gonna be able to lay them on their side, basically the ends, so you can lay them down to pause your timer. You can always use your phone or the app. Basically, if you get the app, there's a timer in the app. You can use just a timer on your phone. And feel free. We're gonna note in there that 3 is kind of the tournament play, of course. But if you want to start at 6, 5, and work your way down, it's just really, even playing at 6, it's been a lot easier and just kind of keeps the player honest, not just too much analysis. So if you have a certain player that likes to really analyze, you can certainly play that way for sure. If you want to play fully without a timer, but if you want to play this game, it's kind of fun to play it fast. I know a lot of people don't like the time pressure, but you can play this game a lot quicker and you get to so much tension that it's worth it to try it out. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But I think it is kind of interesting to get that experience and see if it is for your group. And I know a lot of board gamers, for instance, are a little scared of timers. They don't like that time pressure, but it's really fun here. And you can kind of see it as Hugo learns the game. Managing the clock is something very important. That's actually, as Apple points out, he's very good at. So anything about this mega bunker? What are your thoughts on at least getting the tile for the backers? I think that's enough to make this map stay as is and be a blast. Again, folks, if you don't want to put the tile on the board, you can certainly play this as a single bunker. But really having the 5 hex bunker, again, we're going to redesign the art. This was just placeholders. That tile is going to look differently. It's going to look pretty cool when we get to doing the art for it. This was kind of just the design overview. I should have probably pointed that out earlier. But the overlay is going to be a little bit different there. But what were your thoughts on this mega bunker? Maybe we'll start with Apple on that.
A mega bunker really does add to the game. The problem with the bunker when it was just one bunker is that whoever hoards it just kind of keeps it throughout the game. Where with 5, it made it seem that there was a lot of potential, which the left side is threatening with AP, right side's threatening with AP. There's this battle in the center for the bunker where we're all trying to fight each other. It makes it a nice central point of the map instead of something that before with the center bunker, it was more like you would just run around the sides, and whoever had the center couldn't really do anything with it because your opponent kept hugging the sides of the map. But now that there's 5, it makes it so that way you can both play in the center as much as you want. You can still play the sides as much as you want. It doesn't have to. It doesn't inhibit any kind of play.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything to add, Dugo, to that? Or, I mean, Apple's always so precise, but anything you have to add?
With 5 X's, you really fight for the bunker. It's not just like one side has the bunker and that's it. Here we can, well, at least we can contest the bunker if the enemy has it.
For sure.
Yeah, it was nice to see how you both went back and forth in the bunker with your units.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this really makes me want to go try my own Soviet conscript strategy. You really made that look. You made all those Soviet conscripts look like super troopers. Really cool.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah, they're very good. The
they
flame
are.
upgrade is so nice.
It is, and to play it well, you really have to be accepting of you're going to lose units. You're gonna end up handing over a couple of kills to your opponent. Don't retreat. Don't retreat the Soviets unless you're really getting no value.
Yeah, we did see
Yeah.
that in action, folks. So, any final thoughts on this? What did you think about the Lost Brigades? You didn't even pick
I didn't
one with
even.
the Soviets. I mean, that is interesting to see, folks. Didn't even pick one. We could have saw the anti-infantry or anti-tank partisans hopping
I
in the bunker. Would have been monsters. The IS-2,
I I
also
was
cool.
keeping it open as a surprise in case I needed it. I was waiting for an opportunity to like pull it out and instantly do it without him thinking about it. I don't know if it would have surprised him, but that
Oh
was my
yeah,
whole.
completely. I didn't look your Lost Brigade card. I completely
Yeah.
forgot. Okay.
Yeah, comment from the audience basically. Soviets and high aggression looks like a nightmare to deal with. Great game, guys, or good game, guys, and thanks for the great commentary. Thanks for the kind words, Alex. Yeah, to point out again, not to focus on Dugo's mistakes again with the time pressure, especially, and Apple just always making great plays. Probably would have liked to see a little bit MG play. The MG didn't actually even get a pin all game. Did you find MGs just hard to use on this map, or was it just the time pressure? Any thoughts on that, Dugo?
Oh, it just me that I forgot how to play this game.
Apple does that to people, running rings around them.
Yeah,
But
yeah, really nice game. And again, I'd love to play again with you, Apple.
Yes, yes. We'll actually schedule it other than
Yeah.
a surprise thing, and I'll make sure that I have time allocated for it. But yeah,
yeah,
Are
thanks
you guys
for your.
either of you competing in the tournament tomorrow? Are you letting Dugo compete in the tournament tomorrow?
Well, I mean, what are the
No,
what
no,
are?
I don't participate in the tournament tomorrow.
Okay.
Hugo's already won. He
Yeah,
may have lost
exactly.
this game, but he has $600 worth of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to see Dugo give someone else a chance again. Anybody's tournament, we're going to start that tomorrow at 10 a.m. U.S. time. And again, folks, grand prize, the all-in $614 pledge level. So excited. I think we have a lot of signups, but still plenty of time to
Nice.
sign up. And again, you can still sign up even if you see this tomorrow morning or you wake up. You can still sign up as you show up. It just gets us. We just need the information to make sure when you get through the tournament. Again, if you win one game, you get the Stug pack. If you make it, if you're basically the runner-up, if you get second place, you get the mini pack bundle. So the Stug, the Pathfinder, the Eastern Reinforcement pack, and then the grand prize winner, as I stated already, with the all-in bundle. So thanks for joining us, folks. Any last questions? Bring Dugo as a guest commentator. We'll see. I mean, we could fit more people on the screen. I think Dugo does have some great insight, especially from a player just learning the game. I think he's just,
Yeah.
learning at such a fast pace and just that EU champion. EU versus America's champion
Our
playoff.
signups too. Sorry to interrupt.
What's that,
The
Chris?
Dugo
Sorry?
really increased our signups. The story of Dugo.
The story of
Like,
Dugo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rookie coming in and sweeping, so it gave everybody else hope.
Dugo,
All
the
the other
beacon of
actors.
hope for sure. Plasma EU versus America's Championship playoff at some point. We did ask Dugo. He said he would be up for at least a show match. We would like to do a show match. The EU champion versus the US champion, or the America. I shouldn't say US. It is the Americas. Championship. We would like to see that as a show match. We'll see if we can arrange that. It probably would likely, obviously, be after the Kickstarter as we enter their final days here. But it would be fun to see for those that are interested in the game. Of course, you can watch these later. These are all available on this YouTube channel. That Kubelwagen just killing it over
Blew
there.
up.
But folks, thanks everyone, and again, 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time tomorrow. Join in. I most likely it's either going to be on Mortal Compasses or here on this channel. Either way, we'll have it available to you. And yeah, we'll follow right through it again. We'll see how many rounds there are. We should hopefully have maybe a little bit better referee situation this time to start, but we may start a little bit later after 10 a.m. as the players get in. I review the rules, so hopefully by 10:30 we are up and running. I'll try to get the stream going, probably in muted, saying that we're starting soon by 10 a.m., folks. But thanks again for joining us. And if you didn't vote yet on that Terrain Pack 3, go and hit that form. Make your voice heard. Thank you, amazing backers. We wouldn't be here without you, so hope you enjoyed the show. And yeah, thanks to have you